Well, something ain't right, yo.
Watch out, man. Here come that fool. He's packing. Here he comes.
Yo, son, come on. Yo, Omar coming, man. Oh,
Don't you always think of that when you think of Baltimore?
Me?
You're not a Wire guy?
I watched the first season. It was good.
No King of Queens?
I mean, obviously not.
Obvious to who?
Me?
Okay. Not history.
No, definitely not. I don't think the King of Queens has made very many Rolling Stones top anything where the Wire routinely is.
Yeah, but Kevin James is still alive. Omar's not.
Hey.
But that's in the game. The game Kevin James chose to play was one where he didn't do heroin and stuff.
And robbed drug dealers with a shotgun.
I just meant even off the screen. Didn't Michael K. Williams die of drugs and stuff? Things?
He died twice.
Method acting.
After he jumped out the window?
How many times have you seen it? Just once?
I went back and did a rewatch with the Alan Sepinwall, great TV reviewer over the years. But he did a rewatch and then would write a review after each rewatch. And so it was only reading this review was only for those who were rewatching along with him, so that he would rewatch something. He would rewatch, like it would spoil it if Blake watched it because he's never seen the series. He would not like it because he would watch episode 1 and go, "Oh my, see that guy, so and so? He's going to come back in episode 4 and kill." Like, it's really cool.
That's interesting because back in the day when, I don't know, television series were maybe more relevant than they are now, and newer like that, cable stuff. I used to read his recaps on basically everything.
Yeah.
That's a unique concept to review something you've already seen. When did he do that?
It was just only a few years after The Wire wrapped up, but it was great. Anyway, I'm Dan McDowell.
I'm Blake Jones.
And along with us is star Danny Balis. He needs to be introduced. And we are broadcasting today on a Cowboy Monday, a somber Cowboy Monday. You can hear it in our voices. Another punch in the mouth yesterday, and the Cowboys didn't take it well. And we are broadcasting from high atop my garage. But still doing the vid because you can see us tonight on DZTV on Channel 27. But we are not at our Foxx studios downtown Dallas. We are high atop my garage. We're here at the behest of a sit-in who I believe scheduled this some time ago. He is Andy.
Yeah.
Last name?
Kidsis.
What do you think of that last name, Danny?
Kidsis?
Yeah.
Sounds Greek.
Lithuanian.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
I wonder.
I have a good friend that's Lithuanian. Mike Soroy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, people used to be named for what they did. Like if your last name is Baker, there's a good chance someone way back in your lineage, right, was a Baker.
No,
that's what they did.
That's what legend tells us.
How would you just name people?
I guess Balis would mean I come from a lineage of people that avoided field work. I'm not baling that hay.
Balis.
Balis.
I'll be
You're not
playing
going to bail.
Balis.
I'll be playing Call of Duty 1 in the barn.
But I was wondering if your grandfather worked for Kids R Us.
No, but that is how I tell people to pronounce it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Or maybe your grandfather was quite a prankster. And they would say he's not serious. He kids us.
Could be.
Okay.
Never really met my grandfather.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry about that. There's a bear trap. Well, I never met my father, so here, I just trumped you
Touche.
on that one. Hey!
This,
So we're high atop my garage, so my dogs are here.
the sit-in was actually rescheduled.
Yeah, weren't we supposed to be in Alito today?
Is that what was rescheduled?
We were supposed to be in Alito 2 months ago? And
Yeah, July, yeah.
Andy hit me up, I can't remember, on a Saturday or Sunday and said, hey, are we still good for Monday? And I was like, oops.
Oh, really?
Plague.
So, yeah,
Blake can have one or two. He's had one or two lost shows,
I owe Andy a lot.
and I think one or two. Is that why we got him Eatsies and Lone Star beer today?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, the Lone Star is left over from the party yesterday. The Eatsies, I think you bought it fresh this morning, or is
I
that
did.
also left over? It's
No.
been sitting out for 24 hours?
No.
Okay.
No, I got it fresh on the way in.
Okay.
Now, did you buy it?
We brewed the Lone Star this morning.
You said he bought the Eatsies.
Oh, yeah.
I'll challenge that.
Oh, no. Take a look.
What do you think happened?
What do you think? He just
I think
has
he
a magic
he
wand he
stole
waves
it?
at Eatsies?
No, I have a feeling that there was some sort of voucher or wink and a nod exchanged.
If that's how it works, Adam hasn't told me yet, because I would love to be able to do that. But
Yeah.
no, we still.
I will tell you this. When we were at the ticket, we had these cool discount cards that you could go to Eatsies and, save sometimes 40, 50% off certain items. Mine stopped working when I quit.
Oh, you just got turned off.
Yes.
Well, maybe we can get you back in that game.
That was embarrassing for when you're going there to pick up like $200 worth of holiday food. It's like, shoot. Okay.
Yeah, Andy had scheduled that one out in April, as I'm looking at our emails. It does take
Yeah.
a while to schedule these, though, doesn't it? The guy we had in here Friday was scheduled out quite some time ago.
Yeah.
And you wanted us in Alito, but then you decided, hey, I'll just go here instead.
Yeah, originally you guys were my buffer day Monday after a family vacation. Come back,
Damn it.
have you guys at the house, have a party. Sunday, I reach out to Blake, hadn't heard anything. Like, we still on? Get the response.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
So I'm shooting off text to buddies and brothers and brother-in-laws, and
They didn't want to
Blake
drive out
screwed
there.
it up,
Yeah.
Blake's got a lot on
But
his
why are you
plate.
here today is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We were supposed to
a lot
go to
of
Alito today.
Yeah, a lot of the people that were going to come over, they got busy, work, whatever, couldn't swing it. So I was like, you know what? I want to go to the den anyway, so we'll just keep it easy.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. We want you to go to the den, too, instead of us going to Alito.
Well, he does.
You guys were just out there, right? So I was like, you probably don't mind at all.
Yeah, we were just out there Friday.
I think
A lovely drive.
I think the drive to Alito was only about 5 minutes more than it was to here. So it made no difference to me.
Yeah.
And I haven't spent a lot of time in Alito, so I was kind of sad that.
Well, the whole show kind of goes off of my attitude. So,
That's a good point.
I feel like we're going to be upbeat today, yet with a somber crust,
Yeah.
a somber covering because of the Cowboy Monday, and we'll get to Cowboys for sure. We got a lot of stuff, man. A lot of audio from the game, a lot of audio from the post game. Things aren't going well. It doesn't seem that things are going well for the Cowboys. But first, how about a nice weekend check? And how about a nice sponsor with that? It is Proslat. Because Proslat, let's see. They'll be part of our weekend check next week, too. Isn't it this Saturday we're going to Proslat? The grand opening? Does anyone know?
Oh, wow, we are.
Danny doesn't even know. I thought you said you'd be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. Richardson, 11 o'clock.
That is right.
Food trucks, drinks, great deals.
it's going to be kind of a football pop-up show where we've got a big college football slate. I don't know, right? There's probably good
Name
teams
one
playing each
matchup
other.
that's coming up this Saturday.
It's unbelievable.
Right?
I don't even want to focus on one. That wouldn't be fair to all the other ones.
It's an impressive college football slat.
Ah, there you go. Proslat. Yeah, so what they do is they will redesign your garage. They have redesigned our downtown Dallas studio, and they give us one of those walls where you can just hang stuff on it real easy. They will help you not just redesign, I guess, organize. If your garage, if you have a 2-car garage but you can barely fit one in it,
Or none, in some cases.
Proslat is for you. It's amazing.
Don't think that Proslat's garage refurb is just them coming in and hanging pegboard with the little hooks. The stuff that they put on your walls, I'd be happy to have it in my house. Like I want to talk to them about, hey, could you like make the wall behind my TV Proslat?
I'm sure they would.
It looks that good. Right, Dan?
I don't know. What I do know is everything they use is made right here in America. They have personalized service, not just another website. You can get advice on what to do and how to do it. But you got to go see it. It'll be very impressive, and we will be there Saturday. Richardson, which is closer to your house than this.
Yeah.
Than where we are today.
Yeah, for sure.
And Alito. So if you are in that area, 511 Central Expressway, Richardson, or something. No, 102. Search Proslat. Go to proslat.com. Go to proslat.com and their events page. Or you could even go to dumbzone.com, our events page.
Yeah.
The first one up there is going to be Proslat on Saturday. So join us out there Saturday. They're also having a VIP industry event on Friday for professionals like builders, real estate, mortgage people, etc. They will get catered food. You joining us on Saturday will get food trucks. So go to proslat.com and you can sign up VIP for the VIP event on Friday night, or excuse me, Friday afternoon, or just go see us Saturday afternoon. Was that clear at all? Anything I said? I don't think it was.
I think we came up with a unique Proslat tagline that only you can use.
What is that?
Proslat. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Proslat, yeah, no. But
It's a good thing we're friends with Proslat.
so like I said, next weekend, that'll be our weekend check. My real quick hit on the weekend check is just going to be based on our party yesterday. I thought the party was great. We had our first for this year, Cowboys stream. We did it right here, high atop my garage. Right where you're sitting, Andy. That's who was on the couch yesterday?
Ty.
Jimmy.
Ty was right there. Wasn't
I was in your seat.
he? Oh, he was?
That's why it stinks. Yeah, Jimmy Nelson, our comedian friend, was sitting over there. Adam Romo was here as well. And my advice for party throwers, because we did a few of these last year, and we would progressively have more and more people here, and it all culminated with the Super Bowl. And I learned something after the Cowboy playoff game, or maybe it was after we saw Baker versus Dan Campbell. I can't remember which one. But when you're having a party and you've got your Lone Star beer and you've got your Eatsies and you've got plenty of stuff and food and everything, and then you throw things away at the end of the party, and then you take out, because I had bought, so I learned this during the Cowboy game. We were throwing stuff away in my regular garbage bags here, and then it would still drip and leak out through the bottom onto the lovely carpet here that I try to keep clean. That's why everybody takes their shoes off coming up here. Is that a bother to you, Andy?
Not at all. That's
Taking
how I
your
grew
shoes
up.
off.
My mom was a stickler for that.
All right. There you go. Have her call me.
She's
All
still
right.
with us, right?
Yeah, she
Okay,
is.
just making sure. And if we're gonna
She's still with us.
run into
yeah.
a granddad scenario again.
So, Okay, so that was during the Cowboy playoff game. I finally I'm learning that. And then so for the Baker playoff game, I was like, oh, man. I bought the – what is it called? It was like the industrial garbage bags. It was the hefty, ultra-strong 30G multi-purpose Fabuloso scent with 6-in-1 protection. I'm like going above and beyond. I'm buying the these are the greatest garbage bags ever, according to the label. And then we had our party, and I packed everything up, and then everything leaked all over the place. So I made a move. First time I used it was during the Super Bowl. Used it last night again, and I can't tell you what a great idea this is by me. Great thoughts.
I can hardly wait.
It is the industrial strength garbage bags that they use at construction sites. Go ahead. You're going to have to pay a few bucks more for that, baby.
But it's worth it.
Oh, my God. It's like 1 million gallons. It's huge. And like you throw nails in there.
And the nails don't poke holes?
This is what Dexter would use, Blake.
That's what I heard you say that last night.
Yeah, to dismember a body and then wrap it up in there so that nothing will seep out. So, if you're throwing a party or committing a murder, we heard a neighbor the other day. It was at night, and we were walking the dogs, me and the wife. And they had a chainsaw out in their backyard. And these are these are sketchy neighbors.
Uh-huh.
And she said, I think they're dismembering a body. It was the night before garbage day. Then the next day, they had like 3 or 4 black garbage bags out. And I wondered, is that a way that you could, like Dexter drove out into the middle of the ocean or whatever and then dropped.
He put it in the jet stream so it carried out to the ocean.
But could you just put it in the garbage? Why not just put it in the garbage?
I think
now,
somebody
if you're
would
gonna
find it.
Yep.
Not with these industrial bags, man. I swear to God, no one's going to find that.
You just have to open it.
Yeah, but why would they?
Stink.
Yeah, it's going to stink, the decomposition. You're going to smell that within
all the
If we
blood
throw
12 hours.
out.
lime? Is that what they did in Goodfellas?
Lye?
Lye?
Yeah.
Is it lye?
You
You sprinkle lye? They say get the
lime
lime.
goes
get
in a
the lime.
margarita.
Oh. What about lime away?
There you go. Yeah, spray that on them. But the trash man's going to know.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
It'd stink.
Okay.
Don't hide your bodies in a garbage bag.
Yeah, next to your Cowboys watching party
We
trash.
need a body hiding sponsor.
You got a freaking lake right across the street.
Yeah, but you get a drought. That thing goes down to the bottom. You can walk across it.
You've seen that happen?
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we walk across not the middle of the lake, but
Yeah.
the edges. Yeah, they'll.
Wow.
You know.
How deep is the lake at its deepest
I
point?
don't know. I've never been in it. Don't care.
You just walked across
It's
it.
gross. That's what my thought is on Grapevine Lake. You don't want to swim in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got anything?
Nobody wants to hear stories about having your kid all weekend, but that's what I did. Went to Home Depot. He loves Home Depot.
Do you have your kid every weekend?
His mom was out of town
Is not a
from
married-
Friday till last night, so no, typically not. We split up, do shared, every other weekend or half the weekend, but no, I had him from Friday morning until 6 last night. That's why I was unable to not only be at the Friday Dumb Zone, but also last night's Cowboy watching event. Shamefully. Sadly.
Why don't you just bring your kid? Blake did.
Yeah.
You brought your kid last night?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I've met your kid. He is what I would like to call chill and well-behaved.
What would you call yours?
A freaking Tasmanian devil.
Dude, my wife loves your kid.
How can you
She's
not?
like, he's so mature. She's like, he's a little adult. She's like, he's 2 and he's potty trained. She goes, most boys don't get potty trained until they're 4.
Yeah, Malcolm's 3.5, and he is potty trained for number 1, but for number 2, he he asks me to put a diaper on him so he can crap in his diaper. And I've
That'd be great.
come up with so
That's
many
funny.
incentives. I'm like, dude, if the first time
I wonder if I can do that.
you manure in the
Why?
toilet, what do you
I
want, a
don't know.
diaper?
Just all the walking over to the bathroom. What if I just could sit here?
Yeah, but you wouldn't get your steps.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but yeah, he wants to. He won't do number 2 in the toilet, and I've offered him everything, like treats and Hot Wheels and all the things that
Can
he
you bring me
loves.
my NFL hat?
Nothing. He's like,
tired.
no,
I
I
don't
don't want to. I don't have to. I'm going in the diaper.
I don't want to wear this hat.
All right,
today.
fine.
It's football Monday.
So yeah, I can't believe your kid's fully potty trained, and he's what, almost
he'll be,
3?
He'll be 3 next month.
That's crazy.
Let me bring it back down to earth.
Blake rules with an iron fist.
I just think the kids end up taking on the personalities of their parents, and Blake and Hannah seem pretty laid back.
Well,
Blake is for sure.
I told you guys about how I put Brooks in gymnastics, and it was more of a, let's establish coordination, let's learn how to fall, and then some of
Like
it.
Tua.
Yeah, let's see how
Had to learn how to fall.
see how that's going. And another part of it is just I want you in a class. I want another adult telling you what to do. I need you to be in some sort of structure. He does well at school, but I don't know. I thought this could be something cool we do on Saturday mornings. And, Dan, I think you know how I operate. Like, I never want to stick out in a crowd. And the kid makes it extremely hard to do that. Like, I just want to be off to the side. I don't want any attention on me. But then when you introduce a kid to a scenario, now you're like, I don't want to yell at him or anything, but I don't want him to be affecting anyone else in the room. So that's kind of been a learning curve. And I don't ever want to be that guy. But Saturday in our gymnastics class, I had to take Brooks out of the class and go home early. And I was thinking, if I was someone else in that class, I would think, oh, man, that guy, what's he got going on? But he's, like, not listening in the class to where, like, if everyone is doing their trampoline jumps and all that, like, he's not on the trampoline. He's just sitting there, like, all pissy. So I'm like, okay, well, why are we paying for this class if you don't want to go? And so then they go do something else, and he's not doing that either. And then he's, like, interrupting the flow. And so I was just like, okay, let's just go. And so I picked him up. He was crying and screaming, and then we just left. And I thought, like, I hate watching myself be that guy in the class, but I just thought he was interrupting everything. And so that was a big deal Saturday morning. And I was just curious,
I feel
is
like
that
you're
bad?
doing a positive thing for the rest of the class then.
That's how I viewed it. But
And
then
kind of showing him, because someone else might say, well, I'm paying for this class. You're going to be here. And
yeah, and some other parents do where they're just like, they're a kid.
right.
And they're right. He is just a kid. But
it does mess up everybody else's bit.
sure. But I didn't quite know how to process
And
that.
you're able to take him out. It's kind of like if somebody has a crying kid or something at a movie,
Yeah.
and they don't take him out, you're pretty mad at them. If somebody has a crying kid on a plane, and this changed for me once I had kids, because I used to think, I hate those parents. What are they doing? And now I just feel sorry for them. Like, what are you going to do? Sometimes your kid won't stop.
I think you made the right choice because it had the potential to affect the other's experience, like Dan said, a movie.
Yeah.
But if you're at a grocery store, let them melt down.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Just let them melt down. And just ignore it.
Yeah, because, obviously that's the big thing of becoming a parent is you're no longer operating with, like, just yourself in a situation. There's the kid and there's everyone else around you. And I thought, I hate how much he's making a scene.
Well, that's
So let me just remove myself and him from the scene.
what he's doing. It's triggering something with you. It's about you. It's not necessarily
for sure,
about
but
him.
I don't want to rub off on like if he's
Right.
having I don't know. I'm no longer like the sole scene here, so I have to keep him in mind as well as others. So I don't know. It was just a weird. I didn't quite know how to process it. I thought I came away as like that angry dad, but I don't know. Strange.
Like I said, I think if he's compromising a group their experience, then I think you probably did the right thing by taking him out of that scene. And often a change of scenery or different setting will, snap them back into wherever you need them to be. But, yeah, man, they're kids, and they're going to melt down, and they're going to lose it. And I find myself fighting all the time, especially in public situations. I feel my anxiety happen, and I realize it's not about him. This is something that I need to address.
Yeah.
Why is this affecting me? It shouldn't.
Right.
But it does, because probably something was handled in a difficult way when I was acting out when I was a kid. I was probably yelled at or told to shut up, or there was a lot of anger or hostility involved in that, and that's what is coming up, is that old crap that you experienced when you were younger. Maybe not in every case, but I think in a lot of times it's usually about you and not them, especially when they're that young.
Yeah,
because they can't control that.
It's been interesting to go through certain things with him and realize like how much of the situation, how I'm handling it, is just because of me.
Yeah,
like we're always like focused on him, but it's funny how much it reflects on you and like how you feel about. Because in the situation, I feel like, man, everyone's looking at us. I would hate me if I was them. So I was just like, let's just go. Let's just get out of it.
Do you even remember being a parent to a 3-year-old, Dan?
Of course.
What was it like for your girls? I mean,
it was good times.
It was a long time ago. Were they always pretty easy to deal with, or have they always been like they are now?
No, and I would be told by some people, hey, if you have boys, man, it's a lot worse, no matter what they were doing. But no, I loved it. I think it was a great time. Like I don't know if I'm envious, but I would do it again type thing. I understand why dudes get the younger wife and roll through it again. It's not just for that younger wife. I think, maybe. I don't know. I had a lot of fun. It was great.
When you love to see Dan
it's like the
as
best
a dad again.
Yes.
It's like a best 10-year period of my life, between like 2 and 12 or whatever. Yeah. It's great. It's very rewarding, guys, to be a parent.
You do learn a lot about yourself, as Blake was saying.
Let's get to it.
From the wonderful world of sports.
Sports.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
We must discuss the Dallas Cowboys game.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
I think we do. It's kind of our thing.
Blake cares.
Every Monday, we will live stream to talk Cowboys on a Cowboy Monday. And, man, that's 3 straight home games where they look exactly the same. Like it just starts exactly the same. And I don't know. If you don't think there's lots of trouble right now, then I don't know what to say. Because, when the playoff thing was the playoff thing, it's the playoffs, all that kind of stuff. And then New Orleans, that was, hey, we weren't really prepared. We might have been looking ahead to Baltimore. We got to all look in the mirror, all that kind of things. But there was no doubt. You knew what was coming. You knew the style of play they were going to have. There was no trick. There's no something happened on last night's game that, oh my gosh, we didn't expect that. They never showed that on film. It was exactly the way Baltimore always plays. They did the exact thing that they had done the week before and the week before. That's how they try to play. And the year before, Harbaugh was hired the same, I don't remember if it was the day, but certainly the same offseason as Jason Garrett. That's how long Harbaugh has been their coach. You know exactly what they're going to do. And you couldn't stop it. You got punched in the mouth early, and then all of a sudden you found yourself way behind again. And I am not taking any good feelings, unlike the way the Cowboys tried to spin it after the game. I don't feel like, but they fought back and they came within 3. That game was so much farther than that.
It was 28-6.
Yes, and we were talking during the stream about, what's Harbaugh doing? They had a 4th and 1 at the Cowboys' 45-yard line. And that is a go for it. This is this year's NFL, this where we are in 2024. You absolutely go for it. Yet they didn't. They punted. They flipped the field. And
So when they took the delay of game?
yeah.
Yeah.
And that was after a 3rd and 1, didn't get the first
Right.
down. But 4th and 1, you got Lamar, you got Derrick Henry. Run a sneak, do something. In fact, I'd love to see somebody do the delay of game, like obvious posture, because there's 15 seconds and they're, and then they kind of stand.
I thought that was what was going to happen.
I'd love to see somebody at some point
in the final second of the
2 seconds.
play clock.
All right, I'm going to snap it and run.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get it.
Every time.
Like, let's get it. That could be a new trick play. But they didn't, because that's Harbaugh. And the reason the Cowboys were able to come back late, that's Harbaugh. Take a look at how conservative they get. They change as the game goes. They end up coughing up a lot of big leads.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Baltimore does. And I truly believe if Harbaugh was a little different, if he was a little more aggressive, the 4th and 1 on a 45, then they might have been able to really put that game away earlier.
I'm interested. I didn't listen to any post-game stuff. I was smoked after that game. I'm interested to hear how they tried to spin it because it's week 3. I understand you can try to find some silver linings after the Saints game, but there are none after yesterday. There's nothing you can look at yesterday's game and say, yeah, but, to give you any type of hope that their personnel is going to change, that they're going to improve. And it's week 3, and when you start seeing the body language, and I kind of hate using that term. I think people may read too much into it. But when you see Micah Parsons just kind of like looking around like wishing he was anywhere else but there, and CD yelling at his offensive line for getting holding penalties on a pass that he didn't even catch, he just got interfered with. It's just not. I suspect it's probably a not fun environment being around those guys. It's almost like they are so stunned because they themselves buy into what this team is really about, and it's marketing. They believe that we're the Cowboys. We're not supposed to get trucked by the Ravens at home. We're not supposed to get bounced by the Saints at home. Like, they can't believe it. And they have an inability to process that this is who you are. This is actually happening because everything that the world is led to believe that we're the Cowboys, man. We got songs about us. We got this beautiful stadium.
We're the highest valued franchise in the NFL,
which will never
by
make
like
sense.
$2 billion.
Yeah.
The next highest is, $8 billion. They're 10. We got the highest paid quarterback. CD is just about the highest paid wide receiver. Mike is about to become the highest paid, edge rusher. That's the goals, though.
It's the vibe, and
those are the goals.
And people
the goals are to financially make it.
Yeah.
And anything else would be cool.
That trickles down, right?
Yes.
Aren't you only as happy as your management, and aren't your expectations of yourself and your team kind of a mirror image of what management gives you or shows you in most cases? I don't know. There was a time in that game where a change, something that could have gone their way, would have changed the next quarter of that game, or maybe even the outcome of that game, and it looked like they were just puzzled. How are we here? How did this happen? And the bottom line is the combination of the aura, the culture of this team, the attitude of this organization, mixed with the fact that they don't have a lot of great personnel from top to bottom. What'd you expect?
They have, as they often do, throughout history. They have a great fantasy team. You know, they have name value. They have big, eye-popping, and Dak's stats are going to be even more eye-popping this year, especially if the defense actually does suck, because that's going to cause them to have to chuck it up, and you know they're going to be playing from behind, and that's when you can build your stats. That's why Dak has a great-looking game yesterday, and you can say, oh, it's not Dak's fault. Take a look. Okay, we'll take a look at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. They win the toss. They elect to receive. And I wonder what the mental residue is from this when you do that so that you can establish something. We're going to get out there. We're going to play with a lead. We're going to get our award-winning offense out on the field. And then that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do to you mentally? Because, hey, this is our game plan. And right away your game plan doesn't work. And it's like, uh-oh. And then they march right down the field real easily.
5 plays, 6 plays.
And where's your head at then? Like, oh, my gosh, that's the exact opposite of everything we hoped. I mean, even more than opposite because they get the ball in the second half. And
Didn't you just feel those two sequences, Dallas starting on offense and doing nothing and looking pretty average at it, and then Baltimore doing what they did with such ease? Didn't you, in the pit of your stomach, you just kind of felt, well, this game is over?
Yep.
yeah, when it's 14-3.
Hell, when it was 7-0, you just kind of saw the writing already.
I mean, that first drive was terrible. They had 2 false starts on the first drive.
Mm-hmm.
2 false starts. They're at home. This isn't a loud road environment.
Not to mention they had a pretty great kickoff return that got called back to start the game. The game started with a penalty.
Yeah, they were gifted an automatic first down on that drive. Rico Dowdle looked okay early.
Yeah.
He's a great third back on another team.
He's definitely a great second back.
Okay.
Change-up back.
Fine.
Yeah,
he'd be a third back on Baltimore. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. That set the tone. That, like, offensively. And then, yeah, defensively. I don't even know what to say there. Well, let's stick with the offense for a minute. What are you guys thinking of CD Lamb right now? This is now we go into body language and.
I think he's great.
But if you're going to start yelling at your offensive lineman or whatever you're doing, you can't be doing that in the same game that you fumble in the red zone like that.
And, yeah, drop a couple.
Yeah.
In fact, you can't really be doing that ever. That's not your place, CD.
I think he's just.
That's possibly Dak's place.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then the fact that he did not talk in the locker room, I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that if a guy is making $30 million, just signed, you're one of the pillars of this whole franchise. You're one of the faces of the franchise. That means you got to be out there front and center, and you have to be accountable. You have to the fans. And give Micah credit, even if he's beaten while he's doing it, he's doing it. Dak clearly understands that. Dak's kind of a robot.
But there's only so much he can do with what he has.
Quarterbacks all kind of know that's part of the game of being a quarterback. But,
Look,
yeah, CD Lamb, I think he's got to answer for, if he's got some mistakes in a game, you can't just come out and do the media when everybody's going to tell you how great you are.
CD is knocked off track right now because 2 games in a row, it's no secret how to take him out of a game. You going to just let Cooks and Tolbert beat you? He doesn't have any help back there. They can either double him or put a safety over the top, and you can pretty much neutralize CeeDee Lamb for the most part. What are you going to answer with? Like I said, Cooks or Tolbert or an established grind-out run game, which they don't have.
Yeah, I think this offense is in trouble.
A dynamic quarterback? No. Dak's fine.
Let's go back to our Friday discussion. I mean, if you do have Lamar Jackson, you always have a chance doing something.
Yes.
Whereas,
and I guess the defense forgot about that, because how many times did you see linebackers or up safeties taking the bite on a fake when they should have had somebody spying him? It should have been Micah on Lamar the entire game.
yeah, I wonder. Because throughout the week, they were saying Overshone was going to be that guy. Overshone had said to the media earlier last week that he was going to do – his role was going to be like it was against Cleveland for Deshaun Watson. And we saw that worked well, and obviously – and he got to Watson once, maybe twice. But the point is, caused problems, always knew where he was. So I didn't take a look. Do we have a play count on Overshone? I know that last week that was a thing of, how come he didn't get in there a lot? I don't know what it was like yesterday, but yeah, they knew what was coming. They knew Lamar. Everything happened exactly the way Baltimore plays football, and they acted like oh my gosh, he ran that way. He, like you said, they bid on so many things.
I want to know what Blake thinks, because I don't watch the games probably like you do. I know you're more invested and care about the Cowboys more than I do and watch the games differently than I do. But, I mean, is any of this stuff that we're saying not close to being true, or are you seeing something different? Because I want to know how you have any hope for 14 more of these.
I think it's just frustrating because all the problems they have right now are the problems you thought they would have in the offseason. You know, we talked about that. Like, I mean, Dan's right. You knew Baltimore was going to run the ball, so why don't you do something different? And they never did. And Lamar ran all over him. Derrick Henry ran all over him. And, I mean, that's an issue.
Kamara ran all over him last week.
And just listening to Micah talk in the postgame, I kind of want to blame Zimmer because it's like, how do you not schematically plan for this? But Micah's putting it on the players.
Well, he did that last week, too. At some point, you're going to have to say, hey, Micah, maybe you're not right.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it is the scheme a little bit.
Okay, maybe. But look, what Blake was saying in the beginning of that is true. We can talk about the Jerry Jones culture that he perpetuates on the entire organization. You can talk about how good or bad your coaches are, but the thing you tapped in on is the stuff that they didn't address in the offseason is now glaring on the field. They don't have personnel.
Yeah, you go back to the Green Bay game. They ran, their run defense got ran all over. Okay, what did you do to address that in the offseason?
Nothing.
They didn't do anything. And they're not protecting CD by giving him other weapons around him. So, I mean, all of these things are frustrating, because you can't really fix it. It's not a scheme thing. It's, like you said, Cooks and Tolbert. That's not good enough. Zeke and Dowdle's not good enough. So I'm just very frustrated that this season could not have any legs just after 3 games.
Especially considering that they had options. And one of the options was on the opposite side of the field last night with Henry, who, if you believe Tom Brady, kind of wanted to come here.
You believe, anybody.
Yeah.
That's all anybody said is Derrick Henry wants to be a Cowboy.
So if you've got an offensive line that may be kind of aging or has got a couple of young guys on there now and not super proven or established, isn't Derrick Henry the back that you want? A guy that can basically get 4 yards by himself every time by just moving his legs and falling forward? But no, we bring back the guy that got pancaked playing center the last time he put on the uniform for Dallas.
Well, twice the Cowboys have had an opportunity to choose Derrick Henry over Zeke. Once was in that draft because they could have had Derrick Henry at the top of the second round. Instead, they chose Zeke with the number 4 overall pick. And then once was this offseason. Jerry was actually asked about that. I have a lot of Jerry audio for you today. But since we're on the Derrick Henry topic, let's go there. This was, I guess, the first. I think this is the first Derrick Henry question. Yeah, here we go.
Watching Derrick Henry do what he did, it didn't make you rethink your approach to the run game?
We couldn't afford that.
Because we couldn't afford him.
Why not? You could.
I don't know. Why can't you buy a mansion when you live in a different kind of house? We couldn't afford it. We can't make that all fit. It's simple as that.
That's
Okay.
BS.
They couldn't afford him. Well,
Isn't that BS, Blake?
according to Spot Track, that is an account that follows the contracts, payroll, salary cap breakdowns, etc. Dallas couldn't afford Derrick Henry. He ended up with a $9 million guarantee because at the time of free agency, they knew they owed Trey Lance $5.3 million guaranteed this year. That's the fourth-round flyer they took on Trey Lance. That Jerry made that trade himself without consulting anyone in the organization. And he proudly will proclaim that because he pulled one over on the rest of the NFL. Yeah, you could have had Baker Mayfield for like a conditional 6th or 7th. I can't remember what that was. But no. You got Trey Lance. Wait, all right, sweet, man. Silly rest of the NFL who could have had Trey Lance as well. Also, they had to pay Dak a $5 million bonus in March because his negotiations were stalled, as you know. And had they done the deal in March, the deal Dak was looking for in March was the exact deal they ended up signing. They would have had a lot more salary cap room for this year. But that's something we never even think about, but it's the Cowboys, certainly this is their MO. By dragging that out, by dragging Zeke out a few years ago, by doing this, DeMarcus Lawrence, they did the exact same thing. They have also given themselves a built-in excuse. We can't. Like, we want to do something in free agency. We just can't. Look at the salary cap. The pie's only so big. How many years in a row have you heard this? They got to do this. And they put themselves in that position. So they could afford Derrick Henry. The Eagles, who have high-paid guy, same thing, receiver, quarterback, could afford Saquon Barkley. It's all play. They move things around. The Cowboys have traditionally been one of the lowest spending, cash spending teams in the NFL. And maybe that helps explain why their value is so huge. So I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just the fact that they are inept at these contract games. Or Steven, perhaps, you might point at, because that's who they call the guy who runs the salary cap and does all the contracts. In fact, you've seen like DeMarcus Lawrence or certain guys. Well, once I bypassed Steven and went to Jerry, then we got it done. Okay, well, and you don't do that until the season's about to start, and then you're way past it anyway. So they could afford it, but they couldn't afford it because of their own actions, whether intentional or just that's just the way they run things, and that's the way it ended up. So at the time, they couldn't afford it. Like,
I don't even think it's true.
And you don't even think that's true?
They got $25 million in cap space. They're the 28th.
Well, they restructured Dak, though. Or once they redid Dak,
yeah, this is with this $44 million cap hit. But the problem is, kind of like you said, Trey Lance is your 10th highest paid Cowboy right now.
So Trey Lance.
Cooper Rush is the 17th. So 3 of your top 17 are quarterbacks.
Trey Lance not only cost you that $5.3 million, but the fourth rounder that you could have had. Who's that Jets new running back that everybody loves?
Braylon Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's pushing Breece Hall, who is a fantasy darling because number 1 or number 2 pick in everybody's fantasy draft, or at least running back. And that guy, it looks like he's as good as Breece Hall. You could have had Breece Hall in the fourth round, is what I'm saying.
Or Trey Lance.
This year.
Yeah.
But Jerry's bragging about how, hey, man, I didn't have to talk to anybody. I mean, I take risks. Okay. And that's where it gets you.
And
where they are right now.
And that's why it's frustrating, because we've heard Jake say this a lot, because Steven has said this a lot. They're tied for the most wins in the last 3 years. And that's largely based because they draft incredibly well. But they are just content with being that 12-win team a season because they're not willing to spend extra to make them better.
They do draft well, but you also have to understand it's not always guaranteed. They draft high pretty well. You know, CD, Micah, they've been good picks. But it's not always guaranteed, and they're kind of counting on it to be guaranteed when they let a lot of their depth walk. So when you end up losing, you know, defensive linemen, you lose Neville Gallimore.
Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler to some degree. Yeah, you expect.
Jonathan Hankins. Now, those are not household names or anything, but they're a pretty solid depth that you keep losing those guys, and you just say, well, but we're drafting develop team. Oh, okay. I guess if it works, it's great, but you can't count on that.
It's almost like they overcompensate for NFL trends. For example, in the last 10 years, the big buzzy thing to say about NFL running backs is don't draft them high, don't give them long-term contracts, don't spend any money. You can win. You can be a winning football team with a running back by committee situation. And Jerry's like, yeah, I can win with a tiny person, pancake Zeke center, and Rico. And then, like, to the other side of it, Jerry used to be the guy that would hang on to legacy players and pay them longer than he needed to when they were beyond their ability to perform as they once had. But now he's just letting people go without without replacing them with something at least adequate and cheaper.
Like, is this Dak's fault?
What? Because of what they're paying him?
Dak's salary?
Yeah. You're paying Dak more. You can't pay these other guys. So I don't know. Is it it on Dak?
You know, I didn't even mention the Trey Lance trade. Probably had something to do with Dak, too, and his looming contract.
Of course.
And, hey, what if I get Trey Lance?
Leverage. Yeah.
And how did that leverage work out for him? Especially when Trey Lance actually sucks.
He's terrible.
So the point is, that doesn't create a lot of leverage if there's no threat that Trey Lance could be the next thing.
What if that was why they brought him in here, is for leverage?
That's a part of it.
That's definitely a part of it.
There's no doubt. He knows Dak's contract was up. Why did they don't let a contract go up like that. You never let a guy almost enter his free agent season, not a quarterback. But they're playing a little hardball. And again, that's trickle down too. It's all trickle down. Because that's the way, you know, ultimately that they do treat their players. And they end up, you know, the players have seen the blueprint. Yeah. Zeke held out 2 years in advance of his contract being up because Zeke saw Dak's first contract renegotiation. He saw Dak was looming. He saw a bunch of other players looming. Maybe that was DeMarcus Lawrence era as well. I can't recall. But the point is, they should have just told Zeke, you just sit out the whole year if you want. But they had this dream. Oh, man, but we could be a Super Bowl team with Zeke.
Get the band back together.
Yeah. No, I'm just talking the first time when Zeke did his contract. The time he held out. And they ended up caving on that. And that's the blueprint for how to deal with the Cowboys management. They will cave because they do have this belief, you know, because they've built things on just the superstar tent poles, that, you know, you are that important to this thing that if you're gone, this isn't going to happen. So CD, he knew. I'll just wait. And guess what? CD ended up getting the same contract that his agent wanted when he first held out. And the Cowboys said, no, we can't pay that. The pie's only so big. Well, and eventually they were like, well, we have to pay it because
we found more pie.
But we need CD Lamb, so there's no way we're not going to pay it because this season is dead if we don't have CD Lamb. And I think we're seeing that now. pouting on the sideline or not. Like, he's still great. I think he had 1 catch for 9 yards in the second half. Let me do something for 1 minute. What is this? What is that?
That sounds like the pour of maybe a beer that's been brewed for 140 years.
What is this? What does this sound like? Does it sound like
Irish music?
Does it sound like royalty-free Texas music? Give me Texas music.
Okay.
Does he understand what we're doing?
No, I don't think anybody does, Dan.
We're here to talk about Lone Star beer.
Hey now.
Hold up your beers, guys.
Yeah, that sounds like one of these.
There you go. How's that treating you on a Monday afternoon?
It is afternoon now, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Popped this before noon.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, you did. That's all right. It's noon somewhere, bro.
What's up?
I think that's the Lone Star slogan. It's noon somewhere, bruh. Anyway.
Where would we have been yesterday without Lone Star?
Sober.
I mean, just watching that debacle, I needed a couple red cans in front of me.
Now, I had a blue can. I only had 1 beer yesterday because you don't want overconsumption.
No.
Of your Lone Star beer.
Of course not.
So I had a little underconsumption perhaps yesterday.
You had the blue can, the light?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's so good.
Look how good I look, too.
The pounds are literally melting away, Dan.
Yeah, so thanks to Lone Star Beer for hooking us up. The den up here high atop my garage is full of Lone Star beer still. And will be for all our Cowboy streams. And we're happy to be in a partnership of sorts with Lone Star Beer. And Lone Star Light, the national beer of Texas. All right.
I enjoyed your royalty-free Texas music.
Yeah. That's a big thing when you're on the TV.
It's kind of a
They're
Texican flavor to it with the accordion in there, man.
When you're on the TV, they'll the TV people will be like even our theme song. They're like, "Can you get a signed waiver that you're allowed to play that on TV?" Like, oh, okay. Was that tough to? Did you have to twist Caitlin's arm on that one? Like, hey, we want to use your song on TV.
Yeah. Here, just sign this.
Did you add some other stuff in there? Like,
I had some big words, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like,
did you
she also signed away like 10% of her future earnings when Caitlin hits it big?
Did you draw up a contract for her?
No, just
an email.
Can we use your song, please?
And
she clicked the AI-generated response. Yes, of course. Boing.
Yeah.
Want to hear some Jerry?
Yes.
Yeah, was he happy?
We never really talked. What order do you want to go in on all these?
We can work backwards. I've got a whole thing.
You got stuff from the game?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do Brady audio after the break. How about?
Love it.
Yeah, I've got some post-game stuff, too.
But this is Jerry post-game, of course. This is him, in the media scrum as he walks down in the bowels outside the locker room. Bunch of media around. And he is trying to kick it positive here.
They can take some of what they showed out at the end of that game, and we can go forward with that. That's at least some taste end up in your mouth. We're sad, obviously, for our fans that we've lost 2 in a row here at home. But if things work like you'd like to have them, they can take some of what we had at the end there and bottle it up and go forward with it.
There you go. Kind of good fourth quarter.
Make the other team play like they have a 3-possession lead. As long as you trick all the other teams to playing like they're going to win.
Right.
Sure.
What else is he supposed to say? And not to defend him, but
here we're having fun.
Jerry, that's 3 losses in a row now at home. How concerned are you about that the home field advantage doesn't seem to be what it was?
Well, I'm not going to close the stadium if you're asking me that at all. So
I'm not going to close the stadium. That's fun.
But seriously.
Hold on. But seriously.
But seriously, Those hurt. Those really hurt. I hate it. I'm so proud of every fan in every seat.
What? I'm so proud of every fan in every seat.
For what?
Just proud that they're our fan. It's kind of like when you tell your kid you're proud of them. Yeah. They're like, why? Because you're
You're good.
You're good. This next cut is the cry of the loser. You will not really hear this in winning locker rooms.
But there was one part of what we had happen to us out there today, and that's show what's in it. It takes a lot of stuff after going all day long, playing the way we were playing, shooting ourselves in the foot, them making some big plays. That takes something to come back and give that kind of effort at the end. I'm going to hang my hat on that. I hope our fans will.
Great.
Effort. We fought hard till the end.
Mm-hmm.
We played 4 whole quarters. We did not give up.
What did he say at the beginning? It takes a lot of stuff.
But there was one part of what we had happen to us out there today, and that's show what's in it. It takes a lot of stuff.
What do you mean it takes a lot of stuff?
It takes a lot of stuff after going all day long.
After going all day long.
He just sounds like your hardcore Monday morning Cowboy fan that refuses to believe that they're going to be bad this year. It's just trying to find the silver lining.
But that's always the cry of the loser. You just don't hear how the winning team played hard for 4 quarters because, well, I don't care if you did or not. All we want in the end is the win.
Yeah.
So don't tell us how they played hard. Don't tell us, I hate to sound like my dad or whatever, but don't tell us that you're making $30 million and I have to now applaud you because you actually didn't give up at the end of the game. Oh, that's great. I would have. That's great. That's awesome. I'm so glad that you actually kept playing the whole game.
Lamar, I mean, he played hard for about 2.5 quarters.
That's right.
It's because he didn't have to play the whole game.
Right.
You know when he
destroyed you.
You know when he played in the second half when he really needed to close the door was on basically their final play where he got the first down by himself because he needed to. It's like, all right. Yeah, if we don't get the first down here, they're going to get the ball back, and maybe they got a timeout left. Maybe they can get in field goal range with that guy. The guy can kick a 90-yarder. Let's just end this. And he did. He didn't before because he didn't need to. Because the Cowboys are like a really pliable clay that you can just do whatever you want with them, especially yesterday. I mean, Baltimore did whatever they wanted, and when they didn't want to, they didn't have to, and they didn't.
Here's Jerry sticking to his talking points.
I like where we are right now. I don't like the outcome of the last 2 ball games. And we were disjointed out there a lot on all phases of the ball. But at the end, we did something there that we can build on. And again, you've got to think that we can play better than the way we played most of the game out there today.
Got to think that.
You'd like to think.
You got to think it.
I'd like to think that, but I don't.
Here, he's going to invoke, he'll shorten the word, but he'll invoke momentum.
You start playing well, and that old Mo starts going the other way for the other team, and good things can happen. The last part of this game has some inspiration to it. Would like to win it, but by no means is this a death nail on the coffin for what we've had happen last 2 weeks here.
So,
Mo.
What I'm seeing here in his head, though, he couldn't do this last week. There was no at least we got a couple good series. There was nothing you could say about
last week was the anomaly, right?
But
even if they had come back a little bit, that we just played. It was our bad week this year. We just didn't show up. It ain't gonna happen again. When it happens twice in a row at home, what else is he supposed to say?
How
about nothing?
Yeah, well, nothing would be great, but he's not gonna do that. He can't help himself, but he can't just go out there and go, "Yeah, we suck right now."
What was the theme of the off season? Do you remember what all the reporters would ask him about? Blake, Andy,
all in.
All in.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that.
You talked going into the season about being all in. What does that look like throughout the...
Now, do you remember also how he kind of shifted the definition? Of course, we all thought the definition is I'm going to get a bunch of free agents. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a trade. I'm going to do everything possible.
Yeah, he changed it, right?
It was kind of changed. If you recall, it was kind of changed to, well, I mean, it means if there's something we need to do during the season, we can make some changes during the season. Do you recall that? I think it was on the bus. Whatever.
Okay.
I think that's where this reporter is going.
What does that look like throughout the rest of this season as far as upgrading at areas where this team's struggling?
Yeah, well, I love our quarterback, who highest paid guy in the NFL, and
he's going to drop that in there.
Yeah.
I like our offensive line, and frankly, I like some of the things we're doing in the defensive line. So I like our personnel. When I say all in on personnel, I like our personnel. I don't see personnel changes out here.
Wait, I want to keep this going, but who provides the personnel?
Him and his son.
Okay, so nothing wrong with what we've given the coaching staff to work with.
What I've done is awesome.
I like I love the defensive line. I love it. Yeah, could you have you let a couple guys walk? You could have signed. Everything we got is good. The players are great. So what are we thinking here?
When I say all in on personnel, I like our personnel. I don't see personnel changes out here. I see everybody doing better, getting better. Those are the kinds of things I look for.
What do you like about the defensive line?
I like the way that they came back out there in the last 15 minutes out there. I love that. I think that's something we should all hang our hat on.
Well,
okay.
He keeps going back to that, and I think that's way overstated because there was so many penalties the Ravens had. They had like 12, 13 penalties for almost like 100 yards, so it was like gifted to them. I think that
a lot of it was. You're right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's overstating that for sure.
Yeah, kind of playing the Ravens' MO of we kind of melt down at the end of these games that we should just be putting away.
Well, and the Ravens were up by 22. They were not running anything. And you were gifted an onside kick. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Let's stick with the defense, though, because he did say he likes the defensive line. Why?
Yeah, why?
Because they're. But
last
so
15 minutes.
He said he's just he thinks people will improve. So why? Why are you confident that the defense will improve?
Because I've seen the players that are on the field do what they need to be doing to make it happen. They just need to do it more all at the same time, together.
So
I get what he's trying to say. It's just funny how he said it.
So I've seen him do it. It's kind of like I've seen this pitcher. I've seen him throw a strike.
Yeah.
What if you did more of those? I saw him he got a batter out. He doesn't have an infinity ERA. You just have to get him out. That's the whole point of sports, Jerry, is what makes a great player great. Because I've seen, let's not bring up Sam Darnold because he's actually maybe good now. Give me a bad quarterback. I've seen Carson Wentz throw a touchdown pass. Well, he just needs to do that more. Well, the point is the consistency of an athlete. That's what makes them great. Guys that do it over and over and over and all the time, not like once out of 10 times. So, yeah, I've seen him do that. That's not a good hope is hoping that they'll just do it more, or squeezing, squinting and just dreaming that they'll do it. Like, it doesn't seem to be working. Anyway, he's got a longer answer than 5 seconds. So
to make it happen, they just need to do it more all at the same time, together, and that could come. And then, again, you're playing some pretty good football players and people that we played out there today. We really did know after New Orleans last week that we couldn't have dialed one up that would challenge us anymore on defense than to play Jackson and play.
So a bit of an excuse there. Look, after the way we played New Orleans, this is probably one of the toughest opponents we could have to face because New Orleans pounded it down our throat, and we know that's the way Baltimore plays. I mean, what are you going to do?
Than to play Jackson and play this group. They're a Super Bowl team. They just got out of the Super Bowl. So
No, they didn't.
So, yes.
When was this?
They were also 0-2 before the game.
He says they're a Super Bowl team. They just got out of the Super Bowl.
No.
They're kind of your East Coast mirror on the playoff success, and Lamar Jackson's been criticized for not being able to do that. So, not sure where we might be sundowning here.
Than to play Jackson and play this group. They're a Super Bowl team. They just got out of the Super Bowl. So my point is that we have all the respect in the world for them, and they were very impressive out there for a large part of the day. But I thought it'd be good. I think it's good for us to come back and have the game we had in the fourth quarter, part of the third.
Again, the fourth quarter, man. How many fourth quarter teams are there out there? The Browns. Just bad teams always say that's where you put up your stats. That's where you get your, because every team at the end of the year has an NFL highlight film. Like the old 0-16 Browns.
They put out a
those
VHS.
Those were fourth quarter highlights. Everything you saw.
There's an element of truth to what he is hoping for, that teams can improve throughout a season. And the difference is usually it starts the way that it has for Baltimore, and then they start to improve. It typically doesn't go the other way, where you start out strong and then suck, and then somehow get that curve to turn back in your favor. And especially if you see the way that team looked mentally, the facial expressions. We've mentioned CD and Micah's sour face through a lot of it, and just kind of despondent and looking off into space half the time. I mean, maybe they shake that and get over it and get back to work, but it's just not good. It's not a good way to start your year, that's for damn sure. And everything that Jerry says, which, in typical Jerry fashion, just sounds like a bunch of word soup, saying stuff that he needs to say rather than seeing the thing for what it really looks like right now.
Well,
I just don't see how they're going to do anything without some improvements in personnel. I don't.
Right, defensive line, but these are all things that were pointed out in March.
I know.
That looked inadequate. Of course, wide receiver, and then running back. Running back is a pretty big one, so he gets some questions about running back. This is my last cut from Jerry.
How do you get your running back by committee going?
What was the total on the running back yard today?
54,
51 or 61?
Yeah.
Double that. If they can get it up to 100, but if all of them make enough for 100, then that's progress. Make it so that they could double their production, and that'd be progress.
So
what? So you get twice as good as you are, and that.
Yeah.
So he asked for the stats.
Don't you understand?
The stats for the running backs. So they totaled 61 yards. Well, if they just do twice as good as they did today, we'll be just fine.
How many points did we score today?
24.
All right, double that.
48.
What if we scored 48? Would we have won?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's twice as good.
That's progress.
Problem solved. I've now just given again, you're welcome, coaching staff. First, I gave you all the players that are perfect. Now I just kind of gave you the blueprint.
Yeah, make them twice as good.
I've just told you, double the production of the running backs.
I gave you
the transitive property, then that will double the scoring, and we will win the game.
I gave you good players.
Are you guys paying attention?
I just need you to make them twice as good as they currently are.
Right. Let's go. All right, I feel better now. I feel hopeful.
Let me just play you one thing.
Do it.
From Dak postgame. Because I'm trying to read into this. Like, CD was very upset on the sideline, and he gave one mocking look towards Dak's way. So I don't know if they're on good terms right now. And we've talked that Dak has lost his filter. Like, he's saying way more this year than he ever has. And I can't tell if this is aimed at CD or somebody else, but
we had someone in the in the den yesterday during the game said it's because he has a Latina wife. Did you catch that? She was, and I think she's Latina, and she was saying because they will tell you to stand up for yourself.
Oh, really?
That's what she was saying.
Okay. Well, let's see if there's anything here.
Maybe we've got to, lessen the volume. Who knows? But us as players, we've got to be more professional and understand our jobs, understand where we're supposed to be, and do that time and time again and keep our focus.
So that was the tagline coming out. Dak says team needs to be more professional.
Yeah, lessen the volume.
And people are running with that. And, for all the times we say bad question, I thought this was a really good follow-up.
Where we're supposed to be and do that time and time again and keep our focus.
Dak, Todd Archer with ESPN, you said be more professional. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, but by knowing where you're supposed to be, knowing your reads, knowing where you're supposed to line up, knowing your routes, knowing your route adjustments versus certain coverages. Every part of what being a professional is, it's doing your job and being prepared for every part of the job, however it may come. So time away from the building to being in the building, just being a pro and understanding that you can only get so many practice reps, but you can watch the film, you can do all these other things that will help make up for it. And we just got to be more focused and that's what, to me, on offense, where we haven't been as focused as we should, had a lot of, or a few mental errors that were crucial, I guess you can say, just the timing-wise. And to me, it just goes into being professional and understanding what you got to do.
So he's kind of throwing some people under the bus there, not being prepared and all that. And some of that's quarterback speak. But the way that he kind of hesitates in here.
You can only get so many practice reps. But you can watch the film, you can do all these other things that will help make up for it.
And then time away from the building. Is he trying to say CD's holdout has affected their chemistry so far?
Play the rest of that, the time away from the building thing.
So it was kind
of of the job. Professional is, it's doing your job and being prepared for every part of the job, however it may come. So time away from the building. To being in the building, just being a pro and understanding that.
He's just saying, take your work home with you and don't be out,
Yeah.
Like, watch the film, study your assignments. It's not just work while you're at the office.
For sure.
Yeah.
But the way he hesitated, and I guess I just really glommed on to time away from the building. I don't know. If Dak and CD are not on the same page, Dak could easily point to, hey, well, you weren't here for a month. And now you're throwing a tantrum after you fumble in the red zone.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
So that would upset me because Dak has gone through these contract negotiations. He never held out. And I don't know. You got a diva wide receiver who's kind of dug his own grave here. I'd probably take some shots at him too.
I like the follow-up question asking for a little bit of specifics. I would have even gone one further and go, are you talking about CD? A lot of reporters do that. Sounds like you're talking about CD. Is that true?
Yeah, I think it could be both of those things. It could be some of the holdout, but clearly this is, if the Latina woman makes you stand up for yourself, he's standing up for himself now because Robot Dak of the past would have just accepted all the blame and then worked on this behind closed doors. But he's now publicly saying, it's not my fault, folks. And maybe he's also feeling a little of the highest paid player in the NFL pressure from the outside. Like, hey, you gotta do better. You gotta do this. And he's like, look. He didn't say these words, but he's saying, I'm not naming names, but, you got to look in the mirror and be professional. He's not saying he has to look in the mirror and be professional, and he has to watch more film. Like, he's kind of insinuating there, he's doing all that stuff.
You know what? And
it's other guys who aren't here every day.
I kind of believe that.
Get done at practice, and they're gone, and we don't see them again until they're here, and that's when they start thinking about football again.
He may not be the best quarterback. He may not have the best skills. He may not be the most accurate. He does a lot of his passes. Brady went to some elementary school ranking system on passes yesterday, but I'd say a lot of his passes are B minuses and C pluses that put receivers in a difficult position to have to make really good catches. But I think he does all that stuff. And if the thoughts of his peers and the things that his peers say about him, including Tom Brady, including Aaron Rodgers, the guy busts his ass, and those skilled eyeballs looking at him are like, yeah, that he's doing it the right way. I believe that. I think the guy practices what he preaches for sure. So I think that's great, for him to be a leader. It's like, I'm doing these things. I expect you guys to do it too. That's what you would. If Tom Brady said those things, you wouldn't blink.
Yeah,
you wouldn't blink a damn bit. And I think he's probably doing a lot of the things that make great quarterbacks great. I don't necessarily think he's got the same skills. He's good. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer great, but I think he does all of the things as far as preparation and mentally to get ready for a game and be as best as he can be. I'd bank that he does all of that stuff right. So good for him. Name names.
So here's here's a couple from McCarthy, because he will kind of tell you how they kind of won the game if you really think about it.
Okay.
But you got.
And he does start with an but one of my favorite phrases.
But you got to love the fight and the effort. But our execution is we need to be better. And when I sit up here and talk about all the work we need to do, those are the things I'm referring to. We got a chance. We had a chance here, and they made more key plays than we did. Just based off our big play production, numbers at halftime, we keep track of it. It was +8 and +8, but the score didn't reflect that. And I think clearly the 2-point play they got the big takeaway down there in the red area, and so we just.
Okay, so do you follow that? Mm-hmm. So as far as big plays that we track,
right with them,
it was an even game at halftime. The scoreboard might have said, 20 to 3.
And our secret batch of numbers that don't matter, we won.
Which is misleading because every time they ran the ball, they got 8 yards. Yeah, that doesn't splash, but they were always in 2nd and 3rd and short. You were never in 3rd and short.
Well, our numbers are different.
Yeah, that's not a 20-yard play, but that's the key to the game. To be able to run like that.
Yeah, but it's kind of like what a drummer is like warming up, before he actually starts playing. Mm-hmm. It's the verbal version of that.
But then you say there was 2 point, because if McCarthy never went for 2, they would have been more advantageous at the end to try and win the game. They wouldn't have had to do the onside kick.
Yeah.
So he's pointing to the 2-point conversion, misses, and the fumble in the red zone. And we'll just chalk that up as a touchdown.
Which I guess we're calling it the red area now.
Yeah.
Brady said that a dozen times last night.
But that's a touchdown now. We're just assuming that's a touchdown. So it's kind of like the Dez caught it game. Well, we would have won that game. Well, there's plenty of football game left.
And anyone that watched the game, that was not a 2 or 3 play difference game. Baltimore steamrolled them.
Right.
And it was
because Baltimore would have been playing differently
of course.
In the end of that game had they not been up by 20. And then, what do you make of this? This is very interesting what he said.
I think the most important thing is to look straight in the mirror. We put a lot into this game. Not that we don't put into it every week. Our practice. Sometimes your preparation is really good and you don't play as well as you like, and there's times where your preparation is not very good and you play better than you thought. And I think clearly this week our preparation was pretty much in line with the way we played. So this group works hard. I do. I truly love the locker room. They got a ton of fight, but we're going through some growing pains.
That's pretty damning.
So our preparation matched the game that you saw. He's saying we had bad practices.
Mm-hmm.
We did not do well preparing for this game.
Or is he delusional thinking that they looked pretty good overall? I mean, he just got through saying...
I don't know about that. I think he's saying they were crappy.
Okay.
That's the way I feel.
Boy, I don't like this mix at all. because Dak is starting to throw people under the bus. He's on his last year of his deal. He's trying to convince you it's not his fault either.
Man,
and growing pains. It's not like they're this young team. That's not,
they've had the same core for a long time.
Yeah, and it's such grandpa team. Every week, it seems like the network will show some graphic of a Shanahan tree, and it's like all these guys that look like Andy that are head coaches that are smart and they're innovative and they do cool stuff. And then you see frumpy as, well, no, well, bud, and Mike Zimmer looking at his freaking Chili's menu through his readers. Hey, what am I going to call next? It's just, give it up.
Mike Zimmer does not inspire kick-assedness like
he's looking at his players like this.
Yeah.
Yes, when you see Grandpa on the sideline with readers,
the Ben Franklin glasses.
Readers
for a
just
better
don't.
Description.
It's just that Dan Quinn just looked like a tough guy. You know, he's Dan Campbell-ish. I know he was up in the booth, but still,
right.
And it's just different.
Now I know that their offensive coordinator looked like Mr. Magoo as well, but you know what I'm talking about? This team just seems so boring when it comes to all that. And that Jerry's the rickety-ass ringleader. I don't know.
And that's why I didn't like the Dak extension. I just wanted something else.
Yeah.
Because what we're watching now sucks. And it sucked for the past 5 years.
Somehow people expected that was going to be different.
Bring all the same people back, but just pay them more and something will change. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You know, I figure we are live streaming today, right?
Yeah.
Are we ready for a break?
Yeah.
Like we're prepped for a break? Okay, I forgot. I prepped for a huh? Oh, okay. I prepped for a podcast break, but I don't need it. So, but we do need to go drain some vein. So.
The Dumb Zone.
Don't want me.
There are times in life you wish you had a do-over. A chance to warp back in time to change your fate. Back to before you made the wrong choice. If you're in a wreck, make the smart choice right away. Frankel and Frankel. Chosen by the people, feared by the insurance companies. Call Frankel first.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
That's right. And don't forget that Proslat event is at proslat.com. You can see where the brick and mortar building of Proslat is. Their grand opening is on Saturday at proslat.com. Click on events. You could also see their industry event on Friday night, or excuse me, Friday afternoon. So you can stop by there as well.
No puppet.
If you're in the game. Right now, I would like to do some Cowboy game audio from the TV broadcast, and that actually is sponsored by Early Bird CBD. Here you go, dog. Why don't you shut up? Maybe slide him a little of that, because Early Bird CBD, have you done that? The Early Bird?
What, giving CBD to my dog?
No. Early Bird CBD.
I did it last night.
Do they have a toddler formula?
I don't believe they do, because it's actually got the THC. So the CBD.
I don't mind.
The CBD.
As long as it works, Dan.
I don't know if that's legal, but it's a legal amount of THC, and it's a very consistent dose. 2.5 milligrams of THC. Not really specifically for sleep, but does it help you sleep?
It helps me calm down.
Yeah.
After watching the damn Cowboys.
Kind of like a Zen-like experience, what they say. It'll take the edge off of a tough day. So if you've had a tough day with that wild kid of yours that's too wild to bring over to my house, try some Early Bird CBD. And you might end up getting a great night's sleep as well. It could help with anxiety as well. Perhaps you're someone who has never had or has had only CBD gummies and it's never worked. Well, try these. My wife was kind of in that camp where she's like, oh, the CBD, that doesn't do anything for me. Well, this actually has THC added as well, and you can go to earlybirdcbd.com. Use the code DUMBZONE, all one word. You get 20% off on Early Bird CBD at earlybirdcbd.com. Use the code DUMBZONE, all one word. How do you spell that, Andy?
And if the D is and the Z have to be capitalized or not up there on the screen, is that?
I don't know.
Does it matter?
In fact, I'm
It's
not
cap sensitive.
Like, because the copy I have, it says it's all capital.
Yeah, and up here, it's
I think it's just
a capital D. See, I don't want to have multiple tries and then get frozen out of my Early Bird account.
Early Bird CBD.
Yeah, you have to get.
And then you'll be all frustrated.
I know.
And you'll need to
And then I
take
gotta
an Early Bird CBD.
sign up for two-step verification. I need to know these answers.
Hold on, we got a buzz. Oh, got a power buzz. Do you, Blake?
I do.
Is that gonna hurt things?
No, we should be okay.
Just take a CBD gummy from Early Bird. You'll be fine, Blake.
I have one of these white power cords. If you want one of those, if this will help.
You have a white power cord?
Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, not surprising, sports Führer.
Wait, let's see. There you go.
How about that?
Look at that. Blake's computer
Wow.
is not going to die and kill today's show. But I might have to borrow that black power cord because you're using my white one.
That's his BLM
But we'll
cord.
wait. Right now, yeah, let's do game audio.
Let's start.
And if you don't mind, I might be munching on some salmon.
Dude, help yourself.
While we're talking.
It smells divine. Let's start from the beginning.
I thought it's only bad if you microwave it like you're with the people.
Oh,
so
man,
bringing it in here is bad as well?
That scrumptious aroma just permeates.
Are you against this,
drywall,
Andy?
sheetrock,
Are you
doors.
anti-me bringing the salmon up?
No, it doesn't bother me. I think
Okay.
it's worse. You're right out of the microwave, but you did that downstairs, so
Yeah, all right.
it's mild.
You're doing great.
Excellent.
All right, here's
That's
some
all I wanna
audio.
hear.
All right, let's start from something that happened before kickoff. This was in the booth when we're getting introduced to Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady, and Kevin mentioned something in this very brief clip that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the audio that I have to play, and I guess we learned something that maybe is probably standard with a broadcasting team, but God, did Tom Brady realize that he had signed up for 17 weeks of this?
Dallas got shredded here at home last week. We'll talk about their defense in a moment, but I love what you said last night at dinner. You said, to me, this is a Dak Prescott game.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Do you think he was just bragging that he went to dinner with Tom Brady?
there's a lot of different ways to look at this, but I think
That's
that's
the way I'm reading
probably
it.
the best way,
Yeah.
is that me and Tom Brady have dinner.
Right. Last night at dinner.
Yeah.
You know, I was out with Tom Brady at dinner.
Teams, just having some snacks at din.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That also tells me that all they do is talk about work together, meaning they probably aren't good friends.
Yeah, sitting at dinner.
Like if I went to dinner with Dan, we're not talking about the show.
No.
Like we do that all the time.
You might talk about work, but you're not talking specifically about what are the Cowboys like, Tom?
Yeah.
Evaluate the Cowboys. Well, it's a Dak
We
Prescott
know.
team, and
We were in the same production meetings. You're going to tell me on the game tomorrow.
he just wanted to tell everyone that he went to dinner with Tom Brady.
And they
That's
just
like
gotta-
saying, you texted me last night that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I was on the treadmill when you called. It's like, okay, cool, you work out. Awesome, bro. Well, when I was at dinner with Tom Brady last night, thought that was funny. So I guess they're, buddies and hang out and have dinner together. Is Tom thinking, geez, Louise, I got to do this 14, 15 more times? Have dinner with KB?
EA and TR.
EA, are they there? Not to mention, did they even get the invite?
EA was looking great.
EA? Yeah, she's a lovely lady. Let's skip over this one. All right, so I was talking to Blake before the show today, and I'll be honest,
We talk
man.
all the time. We hang out.
We were having some dinner.
Get some breakfast.
Yep. Tom Brady's gotten good. It's week 3, and he's actually really good now. And whatever criticisms we had of him in the first game, I think he's cleaned that up and sounds prepared. He's smooth, minimal hiccups in his speech, minimal stuttering in his speech. I think he's very, very solid and can do this like Troy for as long as he wants to. So that being said, there wasn't a lot to pick from in the first half, but I did think that would be cool to play the call of the awesome 65-yard field goal. These don't happen all the time. When they do, it's pretty awesome. So I wanted to play this clip, and Tom Brady gets really goofy at the end of it.
Brandon Aubrey trying a 65-yard field goal. Is long this year, 57. 65-yarder from Aubrey is up, and it is good! 65 right off the NFL record. I'll tell you, this field goal kicker electrifies the crowd here.
I'm electrified. It's unbelievable. 65.
He really does.
I'm electrified. It's unbelievable.
He does. It's great.
Yeah. He's the most.
We were fired up yesterday. They had an opportunity to do a 67, didn't they? And pass that up? Or no, it was actually a 65 later, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, it was from the 47 or 48.
Yeah. Like, he's going to break the record.
He's kind of the most exciting thing about the team.
He's going to break the record, but it has to be at the end of a game or a half. More likely half.
It'd be awesome
if
they're
just trying to. They give up a late touchdown. They just got it 30 seconds. They kind of get into field goal range, and they have to take whatever they can.
It would be badass if he breaks the record to win a game.
Oh, my God.
I think he more than any other kicker has an opportunity to do that, considering that the Cowboys will probably have a lot of games. You know, a couple things go right for them last night or yesterday at the end of that thing, and he might be kicking for at least a tie at some point, and who knows how long that could have been. This promo aired.
He's so – because he was in studio with us and described just the process and how he got this good and the coaching he went through. And he's just a robot. He's a savant. He just – you could see him do it too, walk off the exact steps. And you also look at his face. He never looks too happy. He never looks upset. He's just the same. When he made that – against the Browns, was it a 55-yarder? 60-something, and then they removed him back. Oh, that's when he was going to try the 68-yarder. And, like, his face was the exact same. When he stepped back, like, okay, I'll just do this now. Because I am programmed to kick ball.
You know what's funny? when you see other kickers try to make pretty long field goals like that, when they do it, their approach looks so different. Like it's max effort, and they're really trying, and the ball trajectory is kind of low, and a lot of times they get blocked. He looks like he's kicking an extra point.
And, like, usually right down the middle.
Yeah.
Usually. If he's having a bad day, it's, 5 yards inside of the goalpost.
So Foxx, I think, they've carried EPL games, right? They've done that in the past, I believe. I think FS1 is kind of locked in with the EPL, and they do soccer and whatnot.
What's soccer?
Which is cool.
Soccer, Greg.
And this promo they ran last night for the NFL Network for an upcoming game. I thought I think they got their choices in voiceover guys mixed up. Maybe this guy was just hanging out in the hall and had just got done promoting a bunch of EPL games, but they used this dude to promote American football, and it sounded weird to me.
Wakey, wakey, it's Sunday morning football. Watch live as Justin Jefferson leads the Vikings against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Jets, Vikings, Sunday, October 6th at 9:30 Eastern, only on NFL Network.
You ever noticed that before?
No.
It makes sense because it's their game in England.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
If they have a 9:30 game, it's not in Baltimore or Green Bay.
Which also made me think this is weird because when you listen to that guy's voice, it sounds like their normal voiceover guy just trying to do a British accent.
You think it was? No.
I mean, listen to the timbre.
They had to get English guy.
The timbre of his voice. He sounds like you could hear this guy just being a regular American sports announcer. Listen.
Wakey, wakey, it's Sunday morning football. Watch live as Justin Jefferson leads the Vikings against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Jets, Vikings, Sunday, October 6th at 9:30 Eastern, only on NFL Network.
I don't know. That just sounds like me trying to do a bad
legit
British accent.
I think he's a legit Brit. I could see his teeth.
We made it until the middle of the third quarter before the nickname game burst out, I guess. They were pretty clean the whole time. No wacky nicknames, no comedy bits, no silliness. And I'll be damned if Tom Brady isn't the one that broke the seal. And once he did, the floodgates opened.
Downhill run. He reads it to the backside, and he's out the gate. Stiff arm. One of the most vicious in the game. Holy cow. Try to tackle that, KB.
No thanks. I'm good.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it's just...
Try to tackle that, KB.
So KB now realizes it's okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Right.
And not 60 seconds later, we get treated to this.
And, maybe not.
Oh, and listen to the – let me preface this. Listen to the pause before he issues the Tom Brady shortened name, okay? And the pause afterwards. It's like he thought about it and goes, yeah, I'm going for it.
And, maybe not the time to bring it up at 28-6, TB. Dallas's run game has been completely invisible.
DB.
Not the time to bring this up.
And, maybe not the time to bring it up at 28-6, TB. The Dallas's run game has been completely invisible.
Yeah. So from that point forward, we're all black friends, man. Let's go.
That's awesome.
Let's see. Okay,
I guess they didn't do that with Greg.
Gio.
Hey, Gio.
Yeah, no, I mean, TB was TB12.
Sure.
At least he's got that.
I know, but we said they would never do it with Tom Rinaldi, but they do.
Yeah.
TR.
Yeah, they have done that.
So we talked about this earlier. And it took them a minute to get to, once watching Derrick Henry just rack up as many yards as he did, for them to start commenting on what everybody that is a Cowboys fan was thinking during that game.
The irony is that Derrick Henry, a lot of people thought would have looked good in Dallas. Said he signs with Baltimore, and now he's saying, see what you miss?
And Derrick had, in some ways, expressed interest that this is one of the places that he wanted to come.
Yeah.
So if you're a Cowboy fan, you're thinking, wait, he looks pretty good over there.
Well, Henry's in Dallas. He's just leaving after the game. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
See,
he got to Dallas. He's here now. Then he's gonna leave.
Yeah, the comedy just kind of started taking off after the nickname game broke. Starting with this was when they showed or I guess Rinaldi did a package on Derrick Henry's workout routine, and they had video of him, and he was doing some type of looked like lower body training with these big heavyweight chains that he was carrying around, and they're talking about that and reacting to that.
Well, let's give you a little example. This is not a small human being.
The chains, you use those in your workouts, KB?
I did this morning in the hotel gym. I did, yeah.
That's what all that rattling was.
Yeah, are you kidding?
And that one, oh yeah, my groin would be ripped in half right there.
That's not part of the TB12 method?
That wouldn't work for me.
Man, we're having fun.
So much fun, but we did get this uncomfortable, unfortunate drop from Tom Brady.
My groin would be ripped in half.
That made me giggle. Then we move on to the Derrick Henry diet. And this is basically Rinaldi just running down the stuff that he eats. Yep.
Back to just them having fun.
They're having fun, by the way.
Part of why it doesn't sound real is because KB always has announcer voice, doesn't he? Yes, I was working out. That's Tom Brady actually kind of just speaks.
Yeah, he sounds like
a person.
Sounds like Tom.
But yes, that's the change that you heard me.
I was working out.
Yeah, it's just always announcer guy.
When you started out in this business, did you find yourself having to break away from that, or you always just talked like yourself when you were on air? Or did you kind of have an affectation to what you were doing, thinking this is what people in radio want? Do you remember?
I don't know what I did. I don't know what I do now.
I would have a hard time believing that you've ever been anything other than the version of Dan that you were at that time, and not trying to be, this is Dan McDowell coming at you live from Akron.
He played some of his play-by-play.
Yeah.
And it's a little play-by-play-y.
Well, that's different, I guess. Yeah. But, yeah, I was just curious in radio. Like, some guys have radio voice.
Yeah.
I think that I'm always, there's a tiny bit of me in the back of my head that I've never been able to break, that I'm always trying to sound like a broadcaster rather than just, hey, Blake, how's it going, man? Just like I would normally.
Well, you had to project.
Yeah.
And in theory, enunciate.
But I see these guys that are really good at it, and they never sound like they just sound like they're just having a conversation. Everything's normal. Let's see. Okay, back to the diet. Derrick Henry's diet. Let's see. Could you stick to this?
No fried food, no dairy, no gluten, no artificial sugars. Doesn't eat until 4 or 5 o'clock during the season. Maybe has a banana or avocado before practice. Ted and Mark Andrews refer to him as like one of those huge EV SUVs. Smooth, fast, powerful. He's obsessive.
How does a guy that looks like he ate a cow whole eat one avocado until 5 o'clock? I don't understand. It looked like that. It's amazing. Here he gets it again.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm envious of. I want to be able to eat like that.
What, an avocado for breakfast and then
I
a
don't
meal
understand.
at 5?
I couldn't hold out until 4 p.m. and eating.
That's a big thing with these athletes.
Is it really? Why?
OMAD.
What is that?
What is that?
1 meal a day.
I kind of do that, but
I've
I
never
don't-
heard of that.
I haven't seen any real effect on my body.
How have I not heard of that? And why? I thought it was small meals throughout the day. That's the
No,
best
it
way. You keep
always
yourself
changes.
fueled.
That's always changing.
It's the big thing now is to fast.
Yeah.
So he's fasting until 5 o'clock. We did the same thing. We played the audio. DK Metcalf does the same thing. So two of the most yoked guys in the league do this thing where they don't eat until 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening.
I don't understand how he keeps that much mass doing that.
That's the thing.
How does he not get thin?
He must be eating an incredible amount of protein and calories at 5 o'clock. It's got to be.
Yeah, I'd like to know that meal.
Yeah, that's the entire cow.
So
that
you say
Katie was referring
no
to.
gluten, no this, no that. Okay, what do you eat then?
Yeah, no dairy, no gluten, no artificial sugars,
no fried foods,
and no fried foods.
I mean, just probably chicken
Whey
and rice.
protein.
Yeah.
But how much?
A lot.
Probably a lot.
Like that guy needs.
You can't.
If I'm getting 2,000 calories a day, what's he getting?
The same 2,000, or probably more, 3,000 in that one meal.
I was going to say 4,000.
Yeah.
I mean, the effort he's putting out,
It
practice,
might,
all that.
It might be more than that. If he's doing those
'Cause he has to
workouts on the
sustain,
regular, you've
like
got to
you
feel
said,
that.
he has to sustain his bulk. He can't.
Right. Crazy. The comedy continued on, and this is the last clip that I have, and I think Blake's got a few things he wanted to play as well. But here's KB, the jokester.
You know, listen, we're just trying to tell you, if you're watching this game at home, as they say in Dumb and Dumber, so you're telling me there's a chance. TB living proof.
Oh, man.
And TB living proof because we kept referring to the Super Bowl halftime score.
Yeah, there was the fan that had the scoreboard on his T-shirt
right,
in the
so
stands.
now we're going to go back to that guy.
That guy got a lot of screen time, and the sad Cowboys fan with the gigantic foam cowboy hat got screen time too.
Yeah, that guy was
he was
the,
a meme
with the
all
baseball
day.
hat, right?
I don't know what it was, but it was like really big. He looked like
the oversized. I have one of those. Did you buy me it, Blake? Somebody got me the oversized NFL hat.
Looks like a Fisher Price kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to pick up where you left off, KB trying to be funny, because he's the funny guy. And they're the funny booth. So they were doing a thing where here's how open the Ravens receivers were. So they put this.
Play this. I'm going to go grab my oversized hat.
Okay.
I can hear it.
So they have a green circle around the Ravens wide receivers to show just how open they were. And this was coming out of break.
I mean, those are all really good throws by Lamar, but it doesn't take a perfect throw when you're up by 10 yards. You just got to lob the ball out there, and sometimes it looks like you're out to practice early. Nobody's on the field except you. Catch it and just, all right, jog till you get tired.
When you were throwing to Gronk, did you just look for the giant green circle? Was that also on the field when you played?
He was, yeah, that's what I liked. I mean, he lit up. He was like flashing lights at Gronk. He made weird noises from time to time.
That I believe. Here's Prescott.
That I believe. And it's rough when in that, like if somebody made a dumb joke in here, you call it out.
Sure.
But Tom's got to, yeah, that's what I did.
Yes.
That's what I did.
Yeah,
Kevin.
no, it's a yes and thing, and that was my problem with.
Because you got to add to it.
Yeah, and that was my thing with KB in Week 1 is he's doing this stuff to Tom Brady in his first game, and Tom doesn't know how to play this game.
Right.
He doesn't know what to do. But yeah, KB sucks. I think
I don't. My oversized hat. This is what Blake bought me. Is it on camera? Yeah. This is the exact hat, right? He just had a cowboy thing on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big hat.
You have
yeah.
the big Rob Lowe hat.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were obsessed with the Rob Lowe NFL shield hat, so
Yeah.
we thought, well, let's buy Dan a big hat.
Where did you find that?
Yeah, I wear this out a lot.
No, you don't.
How does it stay on your head? Does the headset keep it propped, or is there like a...
There's supposed to be an insert in there.
Okay.
My head is big.
Okay, so this was after the play when Dak is sitting in the pocket and he just drops the ball. I can't
They
remember.
shouldn't do that play.
Shouldn't?
Yeah, I don't like that play. I think that
It's a bad play.
They shouldn't call that. They take that out of the playbook.
So no defender hits it out of his hand. It's
He
it's
just dropped
just
it.
kind of like he's going up to pass and he just
Yeah.
drops it. I can't tell if Brady.
I think someone poured honey on him.
Well, that would keep the ball in his hand.
Oh, okay. We were obsessing over that yesterday during the live stream. The whole.
You see me and a bear in a fight, pour honey on me, so.
Do you remember that?
So.
That was against Philly last year, or before they played Philly.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying that the reporters went up to Dak and said, "Hey, Jerry Jones," because Philly was like 8-1, and they said Jerry Jones said he didn't want to poke the bear and get them angered, so he wasn't going to say anything to give them fuel for this week's game. And then Dak said,
You see me and a bear in a fight, pour honey on me, so.
So, like, he welcomed the bear. Whatever. I
Sure.
don't care if it's a bear. Pour honey on me. And then he got his ass kicked that weekend.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is Brady after that play. I can't tell if he's mocking how he cheated in the NFL or not.
Prescott in trouble. I think he lost the ball for a second, didn't he? And he's down on it. Couldn't totally tell. It just went down strangely. Let's see.
Yeah, he's just looking down the field. They were trying
yeah.
to. Oh, jeez.
I don't think I ever want to hear Tom Brady say that about my quarterback.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. How the hell did you do that?
They were trying
yeah.
to. Oh, jeez.
That's what I thought. Lucky to get it back.
Very lucky. Sometimes you get so relaxed in the pocket, it just actually didn't slip out of my hands much.
Actually, that never happened to me.
It did happen maybe every once in a while, but.
You know, listen, we're just trying to tell you, if you're watching this game at home, as they say in Dumb and Dumber. So
okay, yeah, that went on the KB's.
That
wait a
is
second.
definitely a shot.
Okay,
Let's see if you're watching this game at home. So if you're watching it over here, Andy, we're not trying to tell you that.
Yeah.
You're watching it at a home.
At a home.
At what should be a garage apartment that he rents
Like,
out
I think
to
most
supplement
people
his
are watching the
mortgage.
game at home.
Yeah. Okay, so Brady says, no, actually the ball never slipped out of my hands. Is he saying because he used to deflate the footballs? Because he says that KB doesn't say anything, and then Brady, like, kind of laughs.
Well, he laughs immediately after he says it.
Okay.
It's kind of a little sly, little snicker.
All right, let's check this out again.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I thought. Lucky to get it back.
Very lucky. Sometimes you get so relaxed in the pocket, it just actually didn't slip out of my hands much.
Actually, that never happened to me.
It did happen maybe every once in a while, but.
Interesting.
I don't know. I just thought that was weird.
I don't think so, but who
No, I think
knows?
he was.
Maybe he's
saying because.
Yeah, I think so. Why else would he say it like that?
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, remember when I cheated? I'm still up here.
His reaction to Dak dropping the ball, the OGs, Sports Illustrated published an online article based on Tom Brady's reaction to that, the OGs.
Well,
Tom Brady's reaction to Dak's fumble says it all. I mean, that was the headline.
And then my final thing,
People
we played this last week where I thought Brady broke down the offense, the Cowboys offense perfectly, of not a lot of depth. Teams are going to double CD. If it's going to get into a shootout, they're going to have some problems. Well, he's talking about the Cowboys offense this week, and he doesn't have a lot of nice things to say about them.
Time you do.
There are a lot of time, and again, put together play after play. Just in this drive, you're not thinking about 22-point touchdowns. You're thinking about one drive, one touchdown, play with a little rhythm.
And we had talked about in week 1, like, hey, give me something to let me know that you played quarterback in the NFL. He's been way better about that in the last 2 weeks of, hey, when you're down in this situation, or hey, when you see this kind of coverage, or hey, whatever situation, he's been really good at explaining what you're supposed to do. So I thought here, when the Cowboys were down 28-6, he's saying exactly, you can't score a 22-point touchdown. You know, you just got to take it one play at a time. I thought that was great.
There are a lot of time, and again, put together play after play. Just in this drive, you're not thinking about 22-point touchdowns. You're thinking about one drive, one touchdown, play with a little rhythm. Here we go. Find CD when it's one on another penalty. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Well, if you're frustrated, I'm guessing they're frustrated.
Oh, sorry. Offense number 88, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's just beating yourself, unforced errors, penalties at home. I mean, this is a place where you shouldn't have pre-snap penalties. On the road, you can understand crowd noise. I didn't really see the center. Okay, maybe I jumped the snap. At home, this is just very undisciplined from this offense.
Yeah, that's my point on the first drive of the game. The first drive of the game after the tough off week, we got killed last week. We're out here. We accepted, we won the toss. We're going to take the ball. We need to do something right now. You should be focused beyond all belief there.
But for
my hat slipped.
But for Tom Brady to be dissecting your offense and be saying, "Oh, geez," when your quarterback drops it. And when you get your penalty, he's like, oh, my God. Like, he's just not very complimentary of this Cowboys offense.
No, and like you said last week, the concern is, like, if this is not a world-class defense, and it certainly does not look like one right now, and they're relatively healthy. I know they got Deron Bland is out. That's a big miss. But otherwise, this is kind of the defense you're going to have. And you have to know Deron Bland can come back. They're going to have another injury. They got to have depth to weather injuries. Every team does.
I think in years past when Dak is saying, like, okay, yeah, jump off the bandwagon if you want to, like, they always had the talent.
Did he say that today?
Yeah, of course he did.
Or yesterday? But like I was saying, the other day, he was pointing out, if you are going to have this bad defense, it might be pretty tough for the Cowboys this year if you have this offense. Are you able to get in a shootout and hang? Maybe a shootout and hang, but are you able to come back from a big deficit? And it kind of feels like fool's gold, yesterday's comeback.
Yeah.
Don't you think Tom Brady's just like telling the Fox executives, don't put me on another Cowboys broadcast? He's had the first 3 to start the season. Now he's like...
Well, I wondered if that was by design as well, because then you only have to really prepare hard each week for one new team.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel a little comfort. Like, I know this roster. I don't have to study that whole thing. Very familiar with what I've been seeing.
Probably a combination of that and the highest profile team that's going to get the biggest ratings.
Yeah, it feels like...
Put your A team on it, every one of those.
Yesterday, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, the slate. San Francisco Rams might have had a good argument to be the game of the week. But obviously, last year's MVP and last year's runner-up to MVP is Cowboys are always a good option. So, anyway.
That's audio, Dan.
Yeah, I guess we're done talking about the Cowboy game.
Unless you want to hear the recently surfaced audio video from Jerry at training camp a few years back.
What is that?
So, I don't know why this is just now coming out, but Jamie Foxx apparently goes to a lot of Cowboys training camps.
I've seen him out there.
Yeah. And one day, this is a number of years ago, 3, 4, as I said, several. They don't know exactly when it was. He's sitting in the stands with Jerry. They're practicing. He's got his phone. He's got it in selfie position where it's kind of showing him, and then he'll flip it to where you can see what's going on the field. Well, sitting next to him is the owner of the Cowboys, Jerry Jones. We'll pick this audio up where Jerry Jones starts describing one of the players that just made a play. I don't know who it is. Do you know who it is, Blake?
No.
Some player he's describing who just did something on the field. And listen to the statistics that Jerry chooses to bring up when describing this player.
That's pretty good right there. He showed balance. 5'9 and a half, 210. 5'9", 210. 4'1". Okay. 9 and 3-inch head. 8.5-inch dick.
And then the stream cuts off.
Jamie Foxx ended the live stream. Oh, he was live streaming this, so somebody captured this, I guess. He ends the stream the second Jerry says,
play that all again.
8.5. I'll pick it up to where he just starts going through the description. Sorry.
5'9 and a half, 210.
5'9 and a half.
4'1". Okay. 9 and 3-inch head. 8.5-inch dick.
Why is that today of all things?
I don't know. You know how much of a problem I have with this? None.
Yeah, no,
It's
he's
awesome.
Doing bits.
Yeah.
He's hanging with his buddies.
He's 5'9 and a half, 210, runs a 4.41 40.
Yeah.
9 and 3-inch head. Is that right? That's a huge dome. But the most impressive feature, of course, is
9 and 3-inch head. 8.5-inch dick. 8.5-inch dick.
Right, especially if you're 5'9", right?
Right.
That's like half your body.
Yeah, that's that's clearing the kneecap, bud.
8.5-inch dick.
You guys want to do some viewer mail?
Yes.
All right.
Hey, everybody. It's time to answer some of today's viewer mail.
Then we'll do news.
Mm-hmm.
Then history.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll go.
8.5-inch dick.
I just have a few birthdays and a couple of quick hits. This won't take long. I missed a couple of birthdays on Friday. Dear Dan Fahrenheit is the birthday of my dad, Lee Hunter. His leaders are the Clit Commander, Drop Beth, and Jake's New Fakers. Also, Blake's Subtle Hell Yeah. If you ever need an expert on car maintenance or being a man's man in general, please hit me up.
Okay.
Casey Hunter. I always need someone to tell me about car maintenance and how to be a man's man. Casey. Uncle Cave Crusher. This is another Friday one. Hopefully this is in time for Friday's show. If not, it's Monday. And I disappointed my wife once again. Want to wish my wife, Bree, happy birthday. We are real fans. We each have our own subscription.
All right.
But we do share a bed still. That may change if this is read on Monday, since her birthday was on Friday. This is Ryan Brooks. Is that who you named your son after?
Ryan, yeah.
Ryan Brooks. This is an actual Monday birthday. Hello, Commissioner of Clits and Bits. I'd like to wish a happy Johnny Davis birthday to my husband, Clyde. He's not even grossed out by Jake's transition and wishes him a fast recovery. The Roast Twins are his leader. Less Sarah Hepala, more Julie. From Pam Carmichael. Did you just spit out your water on that?
Less Sarah Hepala made me laugh.
Why are you anti-Sarah Hepala?
I'm not, but why would that guy put her in his crosshairs?
It's a ladies. Pam, you know ladies don't like ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lady? But she
yeah.
said she wants more Julie.
Yeah, well, but many ladies, they're their own worst enemy.
There is no doubt.
Dear Uncle Squirt Funnel is my friend Rachel's Mike Pruitt birthday.
Who?
Mike Pruitt?
Well, everybody knows he was
Former
the
Cleveland back, right?
Cleveland Brown running back. He shared a backfield with Greg Pruitt.
Was Greg Pruitt 34?
They were not related.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome.
It's also the Andy Allenson birthday for her big giant jugs. Her favorite Kemp spin is the Stephen Hawking submarine ramp that Epstein built special for him.
That's a great one.
In honor of Jake, I humbly request the Dick Clark New Year's Eve countdown always be moosin'. From Derek. What is the Dick Clark New Year's Eve countdown?
All right, let's count it down. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 12, 10, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Oh, yeah.
12, 10, 11, 9.
Dick Clark was on the air a little too long.
I wish they'd have started him at like 50.
50.
You could just make it.
Dear Professor Trim Trainer, would you please wish a happy Stephen Peterman birthday to my side piece, Greg? I didn't get woken up in that special way, but I assume I'm going to get moosed real hard as per usual. Danny singing Red Hot Chili Peppers is his leader from Audra F.
What was that?
It's a salmon burp.
Little salmon.
You'll smell it in a second. It'll make its way over there.
Oh, you get to enjoy the fragrance twice.
It tastes great coming back.
Yeah.
Dear Gash Führer, I'd like to wish my father and soon promoted to grandfather Robert Roop a Luca minus Cooper Rush birthday.
67.
Nice. Leader is the phlegm in Tim Kalishaw's throat that caused Dan to be dumped on Picks with Friends. More Danny from Michael Roop.
That was great.
And two final ones. One of them will have a photo attached, Video Man. Rob Chickering running the video today. Rob Chickering. You guys know him, Video Man? He's like, yeah, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
I run video. That's what he tells chicks. Yeah, like, oh, man, yeah.
You do?
You ever hear of YouTube? Yeah. Check out the Dumb Zone. This one is Heil Führerberger. And there's a new Roseanne, says Matt. As WNBA enthusiasts and DFW residents, I'm surprised you haven't noticed. The Roseanne, above all of the other Roseannes, dwells on the sidelines of her Dallas Wings, Patricia Trammell.
Oh.
Ooh.
Wow.
All right.
There's a dash of Karen in there, but if she's not a Roseanne, I don't know what constitutes a Roseanne. This is from Matt. And
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yes, I'm surprised we haven't noticed that when watching the Dallas Wings. And all the Patricia Trammell shots on the sideline of her barking out orders, calling timeouts. Right? They probably do that.
You didn't notice her when you flipped
they have
over?
timeouts in the WNBA?
No. When you flipped over to see Caitlin Clark?
Dude.
You didn't notice her?
She's so unbelievable. I got some Caitlin Clark talk in me. Let's do it tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Playoffs are starting.
Yeah, they start twice a year. I'm convinced the WNBA plays more than one season a year because they're always on.
They're always on. They always have a draft.
God, it's always
it's
always a WNBA draft time.
It's like soccer seasons. There's always another soccer season.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, that was a friendly. Like, what? What is that? And then Anna Kay emails in. You know Anna Kay.
Yep. Chops dogs' heads off.
She does. She's our veterinarian expert. She's also in one of our videos. our Open for Business video. She went to the Falcons game yesterday. She points out Dion is in their Ring of Honor. Well, I knew that, Anna Kay. But she thinks it's funny that at halftime, the Falcons inducted Arthur Blank into the Ring of Honor.
I saw this.
On Sunday Night Football? Or when was it? Was it Sunday night?
Yep.
Arthur Blank chooses, that's how Ring of Honors work. There's no committee. There's no voting by the fans. Mm-hmm. The owner chooses who gets in the Ring of Honor. So Arthur Blank had to, did they film a call? Did they get the moment? He put himself into the Ring of Honor. And then so at halftime, he's usually the one awarding, now we're celebrating here. And, who did it? Whoever did it, he told them to do it. Hey, put me in the Ring of Honor. I've been a good enough owner. I mean, we've been to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
okay.
10 years ago.
He brought in his minion, Roger Goodell, to do it.
Roger Goodell did the award?
Well, he was there. I don't know if he presented it or not, but...
Well, I'm with Anna Kay. I also think that's humorous.
That's a funny pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Jerry hasn't done that yet.
Jerry's not even in the Ring of Honor. Because you can't... But maybe now he'll be like, oh, you could do that? I thought that would have been frowned upon.
Next year.
He'll put himself in as GM, not owner.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's a great call.
All right.
Here's Jake with
Not Jake.
DumbZone News.
Jake will be back sooner than you think, right?
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, what have you heard?
Nothing.
Oh.
If
you hear anything, let us know. What?
I was hoping I was going to show up, and today was going to be the day.
I know. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
You never know.
I was just trying to be like Jerry at the end of the game. Bright side. You know, there's still hope for the season. There's still hope that Jake will come back.
Definitely, but I don't know that it's this week. In fact, I'm just about positive it's not this week.
No. This is incredibly wacky. I stumbled on this morning on the New York Post. The guy that tried to execute the second assassination of Donald Trump, who is in jail, several months ago, he wrote a note where he declared that he intended that he was going to kill Donald Trump. So he put this note in a box and left it at a person's house who has not yet been identified. And what the note says, and this is a little bit weird, the note starts saying, "This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you." So he wrote this note months before he was arrested at that golf course where he was setting up his little sniper's nest 500 feet away from Trump. He goes on to say in his note, I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. It's up to you now to finish the job, and I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job. Everyone across the globe, from the youngest to the oldest, know that Trump is unfit to be anything, much less a U.S. president. U.S. presidents must, at bare minimum, embody the moral fabric that is America and be kind, caring, and selfless and always stand for humanity. So the handwritten note was only discovered after the person who lived in the house where the box was being kept opened the box and alerted authorities in the wake of his arrest from this attempt, okay? So this box is sitting there for months. This person sees that Ryan Ruth has been arrested in some weird assassination attempt on Trump, opens the box and turns this stuff over to the authorities. Also inside the box with the letter was ammunition, a metal pipe, miscellaneous building materials, tools, and 4 cell phones, and multiple other letters that were unrelated. So police are wondering, you wrote this 4 months ago. you claim that the attempt was unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Now they're wondering, did he try this before?
Oh.
Was this a second attempt, a second failed attempt on Trump's life? That's what they're trying to figure out. They don't know yet because this just hit the news this morning.
He possibly failed because of his attitude. If he writes that before doing it, you're visualizing, that's a loser mentality.
I mean, why would you write a letter saying that you're going that you did like he's writing about this failure as it was in past tense, not like a suicide note. And
almost
then,
though, because he wants someone to finish the job.
Months later, he might be expecting to have been taken out during the thing.
Yeah.
How's he going to pay him $150,000?
Did he write this before the other guy?
And look, he can't assume that had he
Pennsylvania one.
It said several months prior. So possibly,
So that would seem yes.
Yeah. So is he thinking, I'm going to be unsuccessful at this, and I'm going to get killed? Therefore, it's going to show that I was unsuccessful at this. But I mean, you could be successful in the assassination and still get taken out by Secret Service. Both of those things could happen too. I think that he probably was at the very minimal scoping a scene out or being at the same place at the same time as Trump and might have had a weapon on him and just didn't go through with it or didn't have the right opportunity.
Well, what if we now, since they didn't take him out, what if we go ask him?
Yeah.
Maybe he'll tell us.
I haven't heard anything about the information that they're getting from him. Have you guys seen anything at all of him speaking about this? Interesting, though. Secret box with a gun and a pipe. So the Green Building got sold. The downtown Dallas Green Building, otherwise known as the Bank of America Plaza. And it got sold to a Dallas investor that has also put money into a lot of stuff down there. And what they're looking to do is take a wild guess.
Build a moat on it.
Mixed use. They want restaurants. They want residences. They want hotel. And the deal, it doesn't even look like this deal's going to get done. It's obviously a complex deal, but it's not going to get done until next year. So when they start upgrading it, doing whatever modifications and what they plan to do with that thing, that's going to be sometime in the future. But the Green Building is going to be going under some renovations in the next 3 to 5 years, it looks like. So we can have more restaurants, more hotels, more housing downtown. Because when you have more stuff like that, it brings a revitalization to the area, right, Dan? I mean, look at Cleveland.
I mean, it sounds good, doesn't it? Better than we're just going to make it more offices.
Yeah.
I think.
I guess. It makes sense because, I'm sure a lot of people, once COVID happened, you learned that you maybe need to have a big commercial real estate imprint and people could do their work at home in the field via Zoom, whatnot. I really thought that the commercial real estate aspect or part of real estate was going to suffer after COVID. And I thought that all these office buildings were going to downsize or just disappear altogether. But I've read that it's doing quite fine.
Yeah, I think they were slowly bringing people back to work. Because I don't think people like working from home.
Yeah, it's mixed, isn't it?
I mean, Dan's working from home right now. Do you like this?
I don't mind it at all. But I also didn't want to do this long-term, full-time, just because I don't think that's viable. It was cool that Brandon Aubrey did come over here.
But this is work coming to you. I mean, truly working from home would be we're all on Zoom doing the show.
Right.
And that would suck.
Yeah, I think so. I think you need some interaction.
Well, I think some people just enjoy a routine. They enjoy getting out of the house, being away, having a structure.
Will be more productive, perhaps, if you do leave.
For sure. Yeah.
I think there can be a middle ground, I think. I don't think you need to be clocking in for 8 hours and sitting at a desk.
No, but
because then I don't know. There has to be some kind of. We have to come to some agreement that. Maybe it's a couple days a week from home or certain things.
That's a lot of my friends that have normal jobs. They have a 3-2 split where they're off Monday or Friday, or they're off Thursday and Friday, but they're not full time in the office, but they're not full time at home either.
They're not off, but they're off from the office. You're saying?
Yeah, they're working from home. Yeah.
That's how where I work. It's Fridays is work from home.
Is that new because of the pandemic?
They drilled it down. It used to be like. Full remote during the pandemic, of course. Then they went like 3 days and then 2 days. So they were slowly bringing everybody back to office.
Okay.
I mean, some things are certainly a waste. But, maybe salespeople out on the road, maybe a once a week in the office.
Yeah.
But I remember guys at the old station some of the salespeople would bitch they had to come in, like they were making them come in after the pandemic. Like you have to be there on, I'll just
it was like
paraphrase,
Wednesdays or
Tuesday
something.
morning or something. But they had to be there to be on a Zoom call with the other markets.
Right.
Well, I could, if we're just doing a Zoom call, like if we have to be there because of a meeting and let's talk about, like I do think some interaction does help.
My wife's job is 100%. She's all over Latin America. She's from Brazil, but all of her meetings are with Brazil, Argentina, all of South America. Before the pandemic, she has an office still to this day. She goes in. I'm like, it could have been remote before.
Yeah.
Your wife's Brazilian?
Yep.
That's cool. So when she goes to the spa, she just has to ask for a wax.
Yep.
The wax.
The wax. Don't need to qualify it.
Does she tell you to stand up for yourself?
No. Oh,
okay.
I think I do enough of that already. She probably tells me to tone it down.
Oh, okay.
Are you an ultimate fighter?
No.
I just needed to ask. One more quickie. So you're an 817 guy, right?
Yep.
Camp Wisdom and R.L. Thornton. Would that be Camp Wisdom and 30, I guess?
Yeah, 30,
yeah?
Yep.
Rough neighborhood?
I guess.
Yeah? Is that Stop 6?
Yeah. If that's the east side of Fort Worth,
I
then
think so. Yeah.
Yep. Yes. Stop 6s. Yeah. Right.
Crazy story. There's a motel over there, and several people were found inside this motel room. Wait a second. This is in Dallas.
Are you like just reading the story now?
No. I'm just saying, look, the address says that there's a Grand Inn on West Camp Wisdom Road off Thornton Freeway, and this happened Sunday night, but Dallas police are the ones reporting this. I thought Camp Wisdom was Fort Worth.
I was thinking Camp Bowie, probably.
Oh, Camp Bowie. Camp Wisdom's just right over there, a little outside of Loop 12, I think. My bad. So Dallas police. Okay, there's a motel on Camp Wisdom 30. There's a blood trail leading to one of the motel rooms. Somebody sees this, calls cops. The cops show up. They walk in, and there are several people, injured in this shooting. There was a shooting that happened. There's people inside the room. I believe one of them was dead. The other had been shot in the chest when the police arrived, and he was rushed to the hospital. There was a third victim, a woman who was in the room, and she was bleeding from her foot. They're not sure whether she got shot in the foot or she stepped on glass during the shooting. But cops believe there were multiple suspects involved in this shooting, that either this was a hit that was put out on these people that they knew were going to be in this room, or something had gone wrong and differences, and then gunfire. The next thing you know, this guy's dead and another dude's getting care flighted to a hospital with a bullet in his chest. But yeah, right outside of Dallas city limits at Camp Wisdom, not Camp Bowie, Fort Worth. Fort Worth's completely safe.
Mm-hmm.
You're
I don't
fine.
know. We had a fugitive in our neighborhood last night.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Out in Aledo?
It's a good neighborhood, but yeah, this guy crashed his car in our neighborhood and was hopping in a bunch of houses being built, dodging the cops. They had a police helicopter.
Nice.
Yeah, live action out there. Yeah.
Nice. Did you get outside?
Did they issue stay in your house or?
No, it was all through the Facebook group. Everybody posted and what they thought were updates there. But yeah, apparently he's still at large. I don't know.
Oh wow.
They hadn't caught him?
Yeah, I know. And there's people's, camera videos of him, like, doing handstands down the sidewalk. I don't know. He was on something.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
He's
still out there. That's
Apparently,
really
yeah.
hard to believe.
He needs an early bird CBD to settle down. All right, McDowell, that's the news.
Oh, okay.
3 stories. That's all you get.
The Dumb Zone News. Like and subscribe.
I would like to tell you that Today in History is going to be brought to you by Prosper Ford and Grapevine Ford. I'll throw them in as well, just because that's what I've been dealing with for over a decade now, Grapevine Ford. But Chaz Gilmore, who owns Grapevine Ford, finally got to build his own dealership from the ground up, make it the perfect dealership, and that is Prosper Ford, which is on 380 and the Tollway, or you go to prosperford.com.
The Dumb Zone
How about
presents
that? Awesome.
Today in
thanks, man.
History.
I just want validation.
For me?
Yes. What's that thing called if you just eat once a day?
OMAD.
Love it. OMAD.
You're going to do it?
No.
Intermittent fasting.
I'm not doing that. I like eating.
It ain't cheating.
Nope.
Eating's fun.
Like, I've got my routine down, and I don't like varying from it.
I guess if you're Derrick Henry, eating is cheating before 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Who would do it before
Not
5
for
o'clock
Shane.
anyway? Yuck.
Let's see. The last time I had sex before 5 o'clock was probably when we were trying to have baby number one of the babies. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But my wife, there was a time when she can get pregnant more or something, I don't know, ladies know that thing. And then it was like before work. And I used to wake up really late. There was very little time before, I would go in. I just would be up till 3 and, get up real late and then just whatever time I could just have a half hour or something. And so that was it. And she's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Since you're leaving tonight, can we? And I'm like, it was so cold and impersonal.
Yeah.
Just her saying, hey, since you're leaving tonight, can we go do it now? Like I put the towel on the bed or something. She gets it all ready.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, this is not what all you have to do. There's a magic way to make us have sex with you. Like, it's really easy.
And it's not logic.
No, all you have to do, just get down there, start messing around with it, whatever. You can just, you don't have to say anything. You're ruining it by talking.
Yeah.
You always ruin things by talking.
Just instigate.
Like, just start it rolling.
Fire the top
Get it
off.
rolling. With me, I can't just put my hand down her pants and all of a sudden she'll be like, oh, okay, let's go. No, she'd be like, what are you doing? But if she, the other way around, if she just kind of slides her hand down, we're rolling. I'm in. Let's go. That's all you have to do. That's how easy it would be. But now that you talked about it and then you set it up and then you're laying there, okay, let's go. And I'm standing there like, oh.
So what'd you do?
Well, you probably end up doing it.
I faked it.
She got pregnant anyway.
That's right. How'd that happen?
So never like a Saturday morning thing or nothing?
These days? No, dude. Now I get up too early to do it. I'm not going to do it at 6:30 in the morning.
He's out doing marine stuff at 6 in the morning.
It's all like, because then, I don't know, I'd have to ask her to go brush her teeth first or something, You're a Saturday morning guy, though, huh? Interesting.
Me?
Yeah, I'd like to hear that on the weekend check.
No, my wife has worked every set. I'm asking for you. This is not my story. It's
I'll
your story.
Sounds
I'll
to
second
me like
Blake on
We're
that.
talking about you.
Saturday morning, good times?
Yeah, weekend morning for sure.
Okay.
That's how you
got
start
kids?
your weekend.
Yep. Let them sleep in and, yep.
You got to make sure they don't walk in the room. That's a bad bit.
Yeah,
Who, the
haven't
kids?
had that happen yet.
Or your dogs?
The dogs are always in the room. They're always...
What are the dogs thinking?
I don't know, but they know.
They're probably thinking you're doing it wrong.
They know something's up. Yeah, they're like,
She's
wait.
supposed to face the other way.
Yeah, at some point they'll be like, okay, that's right.
She's supposed to be looking at the Step Brothers poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, done already?
They're trying to figure out how to turn on the hose and put it on us. You ever hose a dog?
No.
Oh, we did that growing up.
I've seen it happen, yeah.
Because our dog wasn't fixed. He was a boy. And he would just try to impregnate all the neighborhood dogs. And then I saw our neighbor hosing my dog and their dog off, trying to get them apart. Can you imagine that? He's finally hooked up, and someone hosed me down. What if that happened to us? When we finally score, here we are, we're doing it, and someone comes up with a big fire hose, like the equivalent size of a hose, to my little dog.
It'd be like a fire department
All of a
showing up
sudden,
in
the
their truck.
fireman busts in and hoses you off, and now you're left. You can't, you stop me mid-thing. That's a bad bit.
Yeah.
Poor dogs. So on this day in 1908, legendary game where Giants pitcher Christy Mathewson. You heard of him?
Yes. So is Blake.
I'm asking Blake because he hasn't heard of anything. And he's.
Didn't you say 1908?
You've never heard of Christy Mathewson?
No, of course not.
Wow, that's a kind of a legendary name.
Nope. I'm a baseball guy. I've never heard of it.
No one.
The crap, Colby.
All right.
I've heard the name, but I could not tell you what.
I can't tell you anything about it.
Decade he came from. I think he's a pitcher, right?
Hall of Famer. Well, I did just say Giants pitcher Christy Mathewson.
I wasn't listening.
And Cubs pitcher Three Finger Brown.
That sounds like a move in bed.
That has to do with how he would treat the ladies.
That's why she didn't get pregnant.
Three Finger Brown. In the most controversial game ever played. So score is 1-1. There's 2 outs in the last of the 9th. Runners are on first and third. Al Bridwell hits a single. The runner on third scores. So they win the game. However, the runner on first, Fred Merkle. You've heard of Fred Merkle?
Yeah.
He failed to touch second base. Apparently, the single was hit. The crowd is rushing the field in the, whatever. So he doesn't touch second base. The runner scores. So one of the players on the other team, Johnny Evers, from the Tinkers to Evers to Chance. You ever heard of that? Double play combination. You've never read a thing about baseball history.
Not in 1908.
It's like the only thing you know about the 1900s. Tinkers to Evers to Chance. The early 1900s. Andy's nodding. Now, are you nodding because Blake is right?
No, I've heard of this play. Now you're talking about it.
Anyway, Johnny Evers finds the ball, tags the bag. The umpire was actually watching. They call Merkle out. The game is ruled a tie. They end up having to replay the game from the beginning. And, of course, the other team wins. And the Cubs end up winning. And the Cubs go to the playoffs instead of the Giants. And that, from that day forward, was known as Merkle's Boner. Which is funny. See, that's why I remembered it as a kid. Because I could say boner in class. On this day in 1978, Angels 27-year-old outfielder Lyman Bostock is killed by a shotgun while riding in a car in Gary, Indiana. The shot was meant for one of the other passengers in the car. Now, this would lead
somebody
to...
was still shooting at the car, right?
This would lead to an online fight.
Facebook fight.
Was it Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Between Jamie Newberg and Chuck Cooperstein many years later. I don't recall. Do you? The modern-day player who died.
Oscar Taveras.
Okay. Who was a real hot prospect minor leaguer.
Yeah, for the Cardinals.
He died tragically.
Mm-hmm.
Not happily. He died tragically. And Jamie Newberg posted that his son was really broken up. Jamie Newberg's son. And that this is his Lyman Bostock. Or Bostock. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I never heard of the guy. But, so then Coop jumped in saying, well, it's not a fair equivalent. Taveras is a prospect. Bostock was already a major league player, an established major league player. Basically insinuating, your son's stupid, he shouldn't be sad. And Jamie went back at him with, hey, he's like 10. It was one of his, for some reason he was a fan. I'm just saying that that's the sadness I felt is equivalent to the sadness he felt. And Chuck, instead of being like, oh, he came back at him like, well, look, if you have 4 years of major league ability and he's hitting three, like me. It was a big argument. It was hilarious. Anyway.
Oh my God, that is so Coop.
It's awesome. On this day in 2011, Mike Modano retired.
I don't think Coop detects tone. Do you?
Signing an honorary one-day contract so he could retire a member of the Dallas Stars. Do you like that bit? One-day contracts?
So you can retire as that team's with that team's uniform?
Because he was with the Stars for 20 years, he went to the Red Wings for 1 year. Would the ticket sign me to a one-year contract?
So you can get your name on the plaque?
Hopefully years from now, whenever I officially retire or hit the lottery or something, would they allow me to retire as a member of the ticket?
Can't you just
with
claim
full
it?
benefits.
Why do you have to retire as that team member?
It's just performative.
That's what I thought.
You don't have to. I think it's silly. And on this day in 2017, President Donald Trump tweeted that Steph Curry of the Warriors was no longer invited to the White House. Curry had previously said he didn't want to make the visit to the White House. So Trump tweeted out, well, you're not invited anyway. So you can't refuse my invitation because you're not invited. But he invited the rest of the team. Isn't that hilarious?
So good.
And famous wedding on this date in 1996. Gary Busey was 52. He married Tiana Warden. She was?
25.
38.
29. Not bad, right? That's acceptable.
Yeah.
52 and 29?
Yeah, it's great. They were married at the Meyerson Symphony Center in Dallas.
Really?
Isn't that sweet?
Gary Busey was married at the Meyerson?
I talked to Gary Busey last year.
Just called him?
Yes, somebody got me his phone number. And I called him and wanted him to be on the show.
Was he cool?
He was not cool.
Did he ask you how you got the number?
I don't recall. But he ranted a bit, and he wanted money. And so I gave him an offer that I wasn't going to follow up on. I said, I think I started with $500, and he kind of laughed that would just be silly. He couldn't do that, and then proceeded to tell me about his life's journey and visions, and like he's really like out there now.
Mm-hmm.
He's got theories on the world and why we live and molecules, and it's like it would have been great to have him on the air. And he goes, I think I upped it to 1,000, knowing, well, I'm not going to pay him anything anyway. I'll just tell him. And then he wouldn't take that either.
How high did you go? Did you stop at 1,000?
I think I stopped at 1,000, and I realized I've been on the phone with Gary Busey for 45 minutes, and I just wanted to get off. You just recorded that? I should have just recorded that.
I told him to.
I know. I was sitting in the car. I still got his number.
Maybe he might really need the money now. Try the original offer again. All right, fine, I'll do it.
Not a lot of birthdays. John Harbaugh, 62. Tony Mandarich, 58.
How does Harbaugh celebrate his birthday? Does he go to Golden Corral?
It seems like he's that kind of guy.
He has to do the same thing, right? Every year?
Yes. Well, that's Jim Harbaugh, right? Wait. John Harbaugh's... Wait, which is the good Harbaugh? Which is the Ravens coach? Is the bad Harbaugh, right?
He would be Jim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jim is the Ravens coach?
John.
John is the Ravens coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so John, it's his birthday.
Oh. Well, he's boring.
Bruce Springsteen, 75. Jason Alexander, 65.
Really?
Seinfeld guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that seem old?
I would have not been surprised if you told me he was 72.
Oh, okay. You're saying that's young.
Yeah.
Lazy Bone is 49.
God, he must have been young when that was on.
From Bone Thugs and Harmony. He was young when that was on, but he looked old because he was bald.
Right. Yeah, that's what it is. He was 30 back then, right? Crazy.
Like, I used to say when I worked with Bob, like, if you are in your 20s and you're going bald, you're very upset right now. So I'm sorry, and I can sympathize because when you're going bald, that's all you think about. That's all you look at in the mirror. That's all you notice on other dudes. Eventually, you're going to feel great about it. You're going to be free of all that worthless hair, those dead molecules that are on top of your head. But if you go bald in your 20s, again, you're really depressed. But then once you're in your 40s, people are going to tell you how awesome you look. Like they can't believe how great you look. And it's because you look like you looked in your 20s.
Right.
So Bob
you stay
and I...
the same age forever.
Bob was in his late 20s. I was 30 when we first started together. Then we'd see somebody, 15 years after that, we'd see somebody. Well, then I was going bald 15 years later. And they would look at Bob and say, man, you look great. You haven't changed a bit. And they'd look at me and they'd go, oh, hi.
Hello, Dan.
Great to see you. Good to see you. You okay?
You got cancer or what?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I've bounced back from that because I eat once a day. OMAD?
Mm-hmm.
OMAD. I remembered. From 3 minutes ago.
You're gonna look
incredible.
You're going to look like Derrick Henry in no time.
That's right.
Hauling chains around the house.
Carl Pilkington is 52. He's on
Carl's from the British office? That Carl, that's in that Ricky Gervais buddy?
He is Ricky Gervais's buddy, but he's not in the office.
What's he in?
He's in. He's just on his podcast. He's hilarious. And Sean Spicer is 53. He was the White House press secretary that ate lots of gum.
Old Spicy.
Didn't he swallow gum?
Mm-hmm.
That was his bit. I think before Trump, I never knew who a press secretary was. Like I didn't. Not that I care now, but I didn't care, and I just never heard of them, and then it became a huge thing under Trump. Born on this Day Now Dead, Ray Charles. Mary Mallon, who was known as Typhoid Mary. You don't want to be known as that.
No.
And Marty Schottenheimer. Dead on this day, still dead. Lyman Bostock. Sigmund Freud, and Chief Dan George.
Sigmund Freud was a major cocaine addict. Did you know that?
No, really?
Mm-hmm. So all of our modern therapy is... its foundation is made of bricks of cocaine.
Like, if we looked back at everything he was saying, does it all seem cool, or was he saying, like... whatever homosexuality means is a mental disease or whatever they used to say. Was he real out there?
Maybe at the time, but no, I think
we still stick with stuff
people
he
that are
says.
very progressive, modern psychiatrists and therapists are. I mean, they don't.
They're still on board with.
Yeah.
They haven't Me Too'd Freud.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And that was Today in History.
How about that, guys? A Cowboy Monday. We've lifted the somber mood, and more positivity is ahead. You know, they have a game in 3 days.
I know, Thursday night.
So that's pretty sweet.
So we're doing picks Thursday now, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are at that point, Andy. Do you know where we're at?
Yeah, I think the 690 sit-in, end of the show, final thoughts, right?
Closing remarks.
Or closing arguments.
Closing arguments,
Yeah.
all right.
Closing remarks. Who are the guys you brought with you?
So, like I said at the beginning, we were going to have a lot more people, but I got my neighbor Connor here and his buddy Colby, who I don't know that well, but they're over here.
Did Colby go to A&M?
No, Oklahoma State.
Okay.
I know that because we talked about it on the way up.
And I always only think of that because of Colby from Dude Perfect.
I went to A&M, though.
Or Kobe. Oh, did you? Okay.
Get your ring?
Not on, but I do have one. Yep.
2%er?
No, just don't wear the heavy hardware all the time, just for special occasions, you know. I'm glad we got this done finally. It's been a while, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Email in April, I think July was the original date, but definitely worth the wait. Big fan of you guys. It's been awesome having Danny here. That was actually made it even more special, I think. And yeah, I don't know. I've kept a bunch of notes over this whole wait, like, oh, here's what I want to talk about, you know. But now it doesn't seem like any of that makes sense. So
why not?
Non sequiturs. I could give one topic up. You guys are always talking about age differences with the male older than the female. So I'll open this up. My wife is like 16 years older than me. So
Whoa,
I'm
okay.
35. She's 51.
Wow. All right.
So what do you guys think about that?
I'm on board.
I love it.
Jake is heavily on board with that. Yeah.
Yep. So
she could teach you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you say you have kids together.
We do, yeah. We have a daughter together, yep.
So
okay.
51 and 35.
35.
Okay. When
did you get together?
Yeah, did she?
I was 23 or 24.
Okay.
She was my first boss, actually. That's how that happened. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I know you have a story from college or something, Dan, about hooking up with an older lady, right?
I think I was 19 and she was 33.
God, what was your nickname for?
I don't know. I don't know if I had a nickname for her. I mean, I've thrown around different nicknames for fun.
I thought it was a comment about her skin.
Oh, it was Pulley.
Pulley?
So that in my head, that's what I would think about her skin. It was Pulley, because it was like, it wasn't. I guess if you get older, it just your skin becomes a little more loose,
more pliable.
Yeah, but in my head, when we were together, and I'd be feel her arm or whatever, doing it something, I thought her skin was Pulley, like it was. Like, to me, it was just, that's the largest age. So what is that? That's a 14-year age gap.
Yeah.
And you're at 16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought she was like a real woman.
Yeah. My wife was. I was, just straight out of college, still very much a young guy,
That's when you first started dating?
Yep. I was 23, 24. She was almost 40, yeah.
And stayed together the whole time?
We had ups and downs, but yeah, pretty much we've been together about 13 years now. Yeah.
Did you propose to her?
Yeah, but we actually got married 2 years ago, so it was a long time of living in sin. But
right.
How old's your kid?
8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that planned?
No.
Okay.
No, but it's great, Never a bad thing after you have the kid,
It's
But
the best.
yeah, not planned, but we both have really stable jobs and everything, and so it was.
She's not still your
It wasn't
boss.
like a really
Yeah,
stressful.
you're not still working for her?
No. We still work at the same company together, but not like in a reporting relationship.
Do you feel like she groomed you?
No, what's interesting is like she interviewed me on, for, coming out of school and worked under her for about a year. Then I got hired like as a temp to full time. Then I got hired full time, and then that's when like we went out in downtown at the old Fox and Hound they used to have down there to celebrate. My parents were there. I grew up in Flower Mound. They came down, and then that was the night kind of hit it off. But yeah, no.
What's the age difference between her and your mom?
Maybe about the same. Maybe they're about 15 years.
Okay,
and that's not uncomfortable then.
No.
So, well, my dad thought it was awesome at the time. Like he loved it, Brazilian boss. He was a pilot, so he could get behind that. My mom didn't really love it, but now they get along really well, and it's all time. Time changes a lot of things,
Uncomfortable about it, or any weird moments?
Yeah, I mean, like any other family, there's some ups and downs with it, of course, but nothing that any other family wouldn't have,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's so funny that we're spending time talking about something because the roles are reversed. But if it was a 51-year-old dude with a 35-year-old girl,
it'd be nothing. You wouldn't even blink.
It wouldn't even blink. Yeah.
The only interesting
weird double
part
standard we
is,
have with that.
Less about the age and more about like when her parents come up, her mom will spend all summer with us from Brazil, but she doesn't speak any English. So like the whole arguing with your wife in front of your in-laws, great in-laws, because it's in the coffee you want, or in the morning you want coffee, in the evening you want a beer. That's about as much Portuguese as I know, and
that's right.
So it's arguing in front of these in-laws that don't speak the language is interesting too. They could pick up on the tone, but not the actual language. So that's interesting, but
yeah. So you sometimes just try to keep the tone cool.
That's
while
right.
You're saying
Yeah.
something negative.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm surprised that after
the house looks like shit today. All right.
I'm surprised that after as many years as you guys have been together, you don't speak like. I figured you'd be fluent in Portuguese.
I know a little bit more than I'm letting on, but I can understand everything, but I have to respond mostly in English. Speaking, it's a lot more challenging than understanding it. I think that's true with any language.
Yeah, it's like weird Spanish.
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
And where do you work, or do you not want to say?
I won't name the company, but it's a large medical device pharmaceutical company in Fort Worth. And so, yeah.
He makes bedpans, Dan. For you.
Yeah. It's
pharmaceutical.
No. Manufacturing and quality assurance is what I'm in, but yeah, make drugs.
Are you an engineer?
I was biomedical science was my degree, but pretty much everybody I work with is either engineering or science. Yeah.
Okay. Aggies, they're big on engineering.
Big time.
So they say.
Yep. I love a good ag. When
did you graduate from there?
December 2010. Yep.
You think Jimbo's the answer?
What? For the year that we finished number 5, and then Notre Dame went to the playoff, and then they got smoked. That was hopeful. Then we signed them to that mega contract extension, and saw how that went.
You happy you get to play Texas again?
Yeah, I am. So I was at the last game. It was my senior year, and
Justin Tucker.
And we lost at home, and so it's awesome they're bringing it back. It was a shame that they didn't have it all those years. Tickets are insanely expensive though, so I'm like,
sure.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it or not.
This year's game?
Yeah, like secondhand market. I don't know. It's $700 for the cheapest one right now.
Yeah, I would imagine. Plus, UT's great.
Yeah.
Be a great year to spoil that.
It would be. It would make the rest of the year worth it.
There's no chance, though, is there? Is it at Aggie?
Yeah, it's at home.
Mm-hmm. They have one extra man there.
Yeah.
Than other teams. That's their advantage. That's awesome, dude. That's a nice closing remarks. I think the Reddit page will like that.
Yeah.
Do you ever look at that?
I guess I will tonight,
Others have come in saying they complain about the Reddit page being too harsh on the sit-ins.
Yeah. No, I'm on there occasionally. I don't participate, but I'll just check it out. Try to see what kind of scoop there is out for Jake out there, you know. But
a lot of conjecture.
Yeah. Well, you kind of asked for that.
I do not support that at all. Do not. You know what? On our new site, dumbzone.com, you should not go into the chat and wildly speculate about the whereabouts of Jake, because you might step into a bear trap. But again, that is the fun with wild speculation.
That's right.
The potential for a bear trap. Well, I'm glad we never said, like, we hated Latin wives or, older wives or whatever. But all right, well, thanks,
great.
man.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, good times.
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.